After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Short track racing is always a bunch of fun with playoffs and points on the line, and that's exactly the case this evening. Virginia is for lovers and Richmond is for the MPI Cup Series this evening for round 24 of 35, the third to final race before the playoffs. So just who punches their ticket to the playoffs this afternoon? Hi, welcome to PitStop TV in the virtual Richmond, Virginia. I'm Andrew Cardinale IV with Emerson Arden alongside. Lawson Peel grabbed yet another win last week at Michigan, making it 3 in a row and 7 on the season, which is a staggering number, honestly, to consider. But now we are in Richmond on a short track, a track that I don't think he really feels like he's going to be a top driver at. He's going to be fast, sure, but now some other players are able to kind of get back within grasp here today, Emerson. And with only 3 rounds to go, Richmond, Watkins Glen, and Daytona, 3 very diverse racetracks. It is go time. If you're not in yet, this is it. You've got to get yourself in.
Absolutely. And then whatever venue you've in Richmond to do it at, right? It's a very fun, it's a wide, short track. There's a lot of chances for you to kind of set up overtakes, kind of place yourself where you want to be. Typically, and we saw it kind of today in real NASCAR, it can be a race. It can kind of control your own destiny a little bit, but it's a short track at the same time. We saw earlier in the season, it can be pretty chaotic. So the key today is going to be, of course, track position and survival, and again, just keeping yourself in it, mentally and physically.
Parker Bland goes fastest in practice, just ahead of Zach Wilson, Ross Harlow, Mario Miranda, and Daniel Michel, your top 5 on the practice charts. Austin Shoemaker checks into the top 10. Pretty cool to see from a driver that we're going to be talking a lot about. But let's talk about the track first. Richmond Raceway, a 3/4 mile D-shaped oval. Used to be a true oval. Used to be even a dirt track, but it's changed over the years. It is now, I think, a NASCAR favorite usually. Later, it's gotten, lately, I guess, it's gotten to be more of almost a intermediate kind of race, Emerson, especially with the the Gen 7 car, but I think we're going to see kind of one of those slobber knockers, if you will. We're going to see some rough and tumble action this afternoon. It's going to be anything but spread out and relaxed.
And I mean, I think that's what you want to see, right? This track is kind of supposed to bring that kind of feel. And I mean, we even saw today in the real NASCAR Cup Series race, the use of different lanes. And it's going to be intriguing to see if these drivers have that opportunity to maybe go up there and find some speed in that high lane. Or if they're, I mean, I'd imagine we're not going to see bottom feeding all the way throughout the field. Just because it's not going to be, there's not enough space, to be completely honest. So it's going to be intriguing to see how it all goes out tonight.
Let's talk first about point standings. We won't dwell here too long after 22 races. And you can see, actually, the guy who just went fastest in qualifying is now in the top 20 in points. Ross Harlow checking in position 20 behind Parker Bland, Travis Stevens, and some others. Now, this picture here would lead you to believe that Kip Easley is the final driver into the playoffs, and it's a 2-point gap between he and Chris Shoemaker, but that is not quite the case. As you can see, Zach Wilson, we confirmed this week, Zach Wilson is in with his win, oddly enough, here at Richmond earlier in the season. So 8 drivers now locked in, Emerson. That moves the cut line to just behind Grant Brown and ahead of Kip Easley. That's going to change things up quite a bit and creates a very different picture. I mean, Dakota Curtis no longer the top 10 in the playoff seeding. Austin Shoemaker is, that much closer, even though he had a great race at Michigan last week. And Chris Shoemaker, Travis Stevens, they're that much farther back.
Yeah, certainly. And again, it's always been tight at this area of the point standings, but the emphasis to kind of outdo your competitors down here. You see Mahar, Austin Shoemaker, Chris Shoemaker, Garrett Brown, Kip Easley, really those 5 in particular. The importance for them to get stage points and to be there at the end of our stages tonight, lap 75 and lap 150, is going to be really key, because every little point is going to matter. And then, of course, if one of them is able to pull off the win, or somebody outside the cut line pulls off a win, then that shifts the cut line again. And so you're always looking to, especially with those 5 in particular, get any advantage you can over the rest.
And Alex Muscarella, Daniel Michel there at the back end of the top 10 should be able to lock themselves into the playoffs either tonight or next week at Watkins Glen. Dakota Curtis, for that matter, could do so at Watkins Glen as well. And even Curtis Kelly. Those guys are very close to locking in on points alone. Like I said, I think Muscarella and Michel very easily can do so tonight if they get some stage points and just outscore the guys they're racing around the 16th, 17th position. They can very well do that, but also we could see a surprise winner tonight. Ross Harlow is quickest right now in qualifying. Daniel Michel is second. Wyatt Brackett is now third. Granted, Wyatt Brackett has a win on the season, so we're expecting a lot to go on this evening, and we're already seeing this storyline of sliding around on the racetrack, Emerson. Let's actually take a moment and look at the weather conditions, because it is something else. It's hot. 131 degrees in the pavement. We are in the middle of August, under the noon sun. It's a warm one.
And a very hot track temp means for very tricky conditions tonight, Andrew. We look again, very hot track and corners that you're slowing down a lot to get into. That means getting on the throttle. There's a lot of time we have to ease the car up onto the throttle because there's a lack of grip with the hot track. The tires aren't going to agree. It's going to take a lot for the tires to want to get into the track. You have to keep the tires happy. You can't throw it into corners. You can't slide it around. It's going to be very difficult tonight. And even in the cup race today, I'm going to keep referring to it because, it's the biggest sample size we have right in front of our faces. You notice drivers today were very slow on corner exit just to preserve their stuff, because it is so difficult to accelerate out of these corners on a cool track. Now you add in track temp, and oh boy, it's going to be a fun one.
On board with Brandon Banks on his second qualifying lap, right down to the bottom. He ran a little higher lap 1. And this time out of turn 4 of the start-finish line, he will put down a 22.9, it looks like. A 22.917, good enough for 13th quick. Ahead of Justin Erb, Justin Hendry, Warren Kyle Keith, James Kunkel, and Parker Bland. Drivers that are qualified. Now Kevin Hurley moves into the 15th spot. Not too bad of a qualifying effort. Isaac Mock on track in car number 7 with Team Watson Racing, and Burnt River Media on the back of that car. Zach Wilson on track, and this is the driver we all have to look at, Emerson. 324 laps led here in the spring. Won the race after starting from pole. First lap is 19th quick, though. That is a slow one, a 23.175.
Yeah, he got very high in 3 and 4. He actually even clipped the wall a little bit, so I was actually shocked that the lap counted. But that was just the warm-up lap. This is the lap that matters. He's going to throttle it up off of turn number 4, and the spring race winner is going to put that number 51, 4th quickest.
Wow, so he's 3 cars behind where he started in the spring. That is a big difference. Out of a field of 40, it doesn't look like very much, Emerson, to only be a few spots back, 4th versus 1st. But when you consider just how the start of this race is going to likely go, or the possibilities of how it could go anyways, being 3 cars back, being on the outside line, that is a big difference.
Certainly. Again, you're going to want to try to get down to that bottom pretty quickly if you did get a green flag run. And of course, on the outside, you're going to have to try to find a way in line or get a break cut from somebody. And then also, starting from 4th, you just don't have control of the start. You're at the mercy of the car in front of you. If they go on the leader, because it's hard to see the leader from 2nd and is 4th. There's a lot of different factors here. But Zach Wilson, he's going to be vying for track position. He's going to be pushing his way to the front as efficiently as possible. And notice he'll need to take control of this race to have a shot at how this race went in the spring.
Austin Reedy on track, 3 minutes to go. First lap within 2/10 of the pole sitter, but goes 12th quick. Out of turn number 4 this time, the driver won the first 2 races on the season. Will go to the, as we wait for the time to check in, well, it's a 22.7 and moves up 6 spots up into the 6th position, just behind Dakota Curtis, who is in the top 5. Really good run for him in qualifying. Garrett Brown on track in the, that's a new number 16. Good to see new paint for him. He goes 11th quick, and we'll wrap up his run. Ryan Kendall across the line goes 17th. Chris Shoemaker on track. He's got a good-looking paint scheme, especially one for this racetrack, given what happened earlier today. But a little bit off here in qualifying. First lap was a bit off, and second lap goes 20 seconds. So he moves up a little bit, but he needs more.
Yeah, certainly. Chris Shoemaker looking for some luck running that paint scheme. That's right. Kevin Harvick has been lighting it up as of the past 2 weeks. So yeah, Chris Shoemaker could really use that, being where he is in the playoff standing. Maybe tonight is the night he starts to turn that around. And how about this guy, Mario Miranda? Can we not say enough about him? He is, again, one of those drivers vying for at the top of the playoff standings. Definitely, a shoe-in for the playoffs. Well, he is in. And Mario Miranda goes top of the charts as well. So even better. Miranda looking pretty good with 2 minutes left in qualifying.
I'll be honest, I did not expect that from Mario Miranda. I guess I should have maybe expected it. He was fast here in the spring, but just not at all what I expected from him there. And a pole run now, potentially, for Mario Miranda. Only a few cars left to go, and at least one of them, Chris Progar, is opting not to qualify at all. Travis Stevens, Austin Shoemaker, Ray Rogers, Chris Progar, Bill Schoonover, and Joseph Mahar have not turned a time. I really feel like the only big bullets that Mario has to dodge are Ray Rogers and maybe Joseph Mahar. And that's if Joseph goes on track. He did just get in his car. He might go on track. Austin Shoemaker could be a long shot for the pole. I think could get it. Otherwise, I think Mario's pretty safe.
Certainly, we're going to have to wait out the final 75 or so, 70 seconds, and see how it all plays out. Ray Rogers throttling up out at turn number 4 into the start-finish line. Rogers, that first time he'll post, goes 10th quickest.
Not bad.
And yeah, it's a great starting point. We'll see where the second lap ends up.
And he's going to abandon that second lap. I think he's pretty content with it being top 10 already. Joseph Mahar on track. Here he is in the W number 19. Austin Shoemaker on track as well. We'll give him a moment as he wraps up his second lap. So first lap had an issue. Might have tagged the wall. Second lap, very, very careful out of turn 4. A 22.8 it looks like. That goes 23rd. No, 8th. 22.765. 8th quick. Moving Ray Rogers out of the top 10. Admittedly, a really, really good lap there at Austin.
Absolutely. It was Mahard. I went 23rd, and he fell back to 24th and spinning into the pit lane. I'd imagine that was an attempt to try pit entry here. This is a tough pit entry to hit under green. I don't know what the likelihood that we're going to have. Well,
yeah. Hopefully there isn't
tough.
an errant 47 car hitting a 19 car today, considering there is no 47 in the MPI Cup Series field. But Joseph Mahar, I think, is glad for that one as we tick on over to the race session. Let's go ahead and look through our starting grid here for the Richmond Raceway. The second time here this season as well. We don't usually get that kind of deal here at PitStop TV where we actually go to the same track twice in a season, but here we go. Richmond Raceway starting grid kicks off with none other than Mario Miranda, four-time winner on the season, looking for another one this evening. Ross Harlow starts from second on his outside, oh so close to that pole, with Daniel Michel and Wyatt Brackett sitting in row number 2. Michel winless, Brackett's got a win from Atlanta, but Lawson Peel, 7 wins on the season now, is putting quite the year together. Starts 5th tonight in Richmond. Curtis Kelly, a pretty solid qualifying effort there. He will start from 6th. Starting 7th, you'll find Zach Wilson, the spring winner here. He's mired in the field compared to where he started last race. Starting, of course, on pole and leading 324 laps en route to victory. Austin Shoemaker needs a win. He starts 8th. And to complete your top 10, Dakota Curtis, Austin Reedy, 2 drivers pretty well safe within the playoffs. Reedy locked in, Dakota Curtis quite a ways ahead, but he still needs to execute this evening.
Absolutely, and back to row number 6, we'll have the one of Ray Rogers just pipped outside the top 10 to 55 of Joe Sanchez. He starts at 12th. 13th will find the 85 of Judd Danielson. The 42 of Kevin Hurley will start in 14th. 15th will be Jesse Whittington in the 94 to 16. Garrett Brown, one of the Cutline drivers, starts 16th. Looking for a good day today. 17th will find the 7 of Isaac Mock. The 48 of Alex Muscarella starts 18th, and rounding out in row number 10, it'll be driver of the number 32, Richard Swavely, and 27, Kip Beasley.
Rolling off 21st, Justin Winters in car 88, Ryan Kindle to his outside. Starting 23rd, you'll find Logan Sturgeon in car 26, just to the inside of Joseph Mahar in the 19 car. Again, thankful there isn't a 47 today. Starting 25th, you'll find Sean Kalis in the KalisSynthetics.com Ford Mustang. Starting for the 26th spot, though, Dustin Reeves in car number 6. The back 4 in the top 30, Brandon Banks, Chris Shoemaker, Charles Feltz, and Justin Erb.
31st, you'll find the 11 of Justin Hendry. The 9 of Bill Schoonover will start 32nd. 33rd, it'll be the 8 of Warren Cal Keith. The 3 of James Kunkel, he will start in 34th. 35th, we'll find the 45 of Brad Fulham. The 01 of Parker Bland, he will start 36th. Back to row number 19, it'll be the 84 of Casey 9 in 37th. The 2 of Travis Stevens in 38. And rounding out the 39 car field for tonight's race, back on row 20 all by himself, the 17 of Chris Progar.
Chris had a rough outing here in the spring, the center of a lot of cautions. Some were his doing admittedly, a lot were not. Hopefully he has a better night today here at Richmond. So, 250 laps. We've already talked about the weather. It is hot for these guys. 85 degrees in the air. That's 130 on the racetrack. Direct sunlight. Very few clouds, if any, in the sky. 5 sets of tires. Again, that 250 lap mark, that's a lot of racing. Stages, well, the first one's coming at the completion, or the beginning of lap 75, the other 150. But down through the Geico restart zone, green flag is out for Mario Miranda and the entire field at the Richmond Raceway. One lap complete, Miranda leads. No surprise there, honestly, Emerson. If he's going to start on pole, he's going to have a good car and leads that opening lap. Lawson Peel, though, the 7-time winner, down to the inside of Wyatt Brackett. That is a challenge for 4th spot. Curtis Kelly behind him. Daniel Michel gets through to the 3rd spot, right behind Ross Harlow. And things are picking up.
Absolutely, in this battle right here between Brackett and Peel, this is one that could go on for a while. It's actually very easy to run side by side in battles here. It's now going to come up to whether one driver or the other makes a mistake or backs off. Wyatt Brackett gets a run up off the corner, and Peel tried to clear in behind him, but he will not be allowed to by Curtis Kelly.
Michel took a look to the inside of Harlow there. Curtis Kelly now to the outside of Lawson Peel. A lot going on early. And for Zach Wilson, man, this is a very different view than he had in the spring. The same racetrack, realistically, I think about the same setup too. Not much has changed, but temps are maybe a little bit higher. We're earlier in the day, so direct sunlight as opposed to the clouds we had in the spring. not many differences, but it seems like they're key ones.
And certainly, and well, let's be real, there's still 80 laps he didn't lead. So there was traffic ahead of him for position, certainly. But again, he was used to being the top dog around here in the spring. A little different now, working. I mean, he's set behind the driver who's basically the #1 seed in the playoffs here in Lawson Peel. This is no easy mountain that he's trying to summit here. There's again 250 laps though, so no need to sound the alarm.
You see most of the field getting a single file now. The first side-by-side back here with Dakota Curtis and Kevin Hurley as they work through turns 1 and 2. Curtis on the outside, Hurley on the inside. And Hurley, I think, trying to make the move on Dakota Curtis. Dakota has moved back pretty swiftly since the start of the race, losing a couple of positions. Now in 12th, when he started, I believe it was 10th or 9th position. One car on the fence, I think that was Shoemaker.
And again, that's an easy fence to just grab out of turn 4. Your car is kind of already rolling towards it, right?
He might have just raised it.
Yeah, you're right. I don't even think it's really affected his running, and looks fine there in 9th. We have Muscarella making some moves here.
Yeah, big slide there for Hurley. Loses a few spots. Now Whittington in the fence ahead of these guys. Muscarella there as well. Judd Danielson got by the 42 car. So now Hurley moving back just as quickly as I had mentioned Dakota Curtis was sliding. The 42 car now doing the same thing. Dustin Reeves, Sean Kalis, as Justin Erb goes slow out of turn 2, loses a lot of spots. We're seeing a growing trend. We already knew it was going to happen. We already knew it would be a talking point today, Emerson. But the lack of grip on corner exit is going to be a big, big issue today.
Absolutely. You have to really be eased with the throttle. I know a lot of people will say, especially on like dirt and stuff like that, you have to pretend like there's an egg under the gas pedal and you try not to crack it as you try to throttle up out of the corners. It really is quite a task, and you're going to give your right foot a workout tonight.
Daniel Michel working on Ross Harlow. This is a great battle for the second spot, although a bit of a misstep there out of the corner for car 25. And I've really been waiting for the day Daniel Michel finally goes to victory lane. Could it be today, Emerson? I mean, a good start here in the top 3, walking away from Wyatt Brackett a little bit, was challenging Harlow. And Ross was good here in the spring, so I'm not surprised by him being good again today. But at some point, this 25 car has got to win.
He's been right there, especially early season, right, Andrew? He was definitely one of those drivers at the front of the field, leading laps. And he kind of tapered off there in the middle of the season. He's back up here in 3rd, and again, is ready to pounce. Should easily make the playoffs on points, but wouldn't you like that win to just kind of, elevate yourself to that next level, right? I too have also been kind of eagerly awaiting Daniel Michel and a trip to victory lane here in the MPI Cup Series.
Oh, Wilson, I don't know if you saw that. Bit of a slap to the wall, very light. But that bobble led to him just kind of walking up the racetrack a little bit as he follows Curtis Kelly and Wyatt Brackett. This battle brewing. As Ray Rogers is off pace, losing spots in turn 4. The onboard here, you can see Hurley down to the inside, taking that 16th spot away as caution 1 will fall on the speedway. And unfortunately, Chris Progar, well, he is the first one with issues here at Richmond.
Oh, man. And again, not like it, or not having good vibes coming into this track tonight anyway, and it's not a good start for Chris Broker to bring out the first yellow of the day. Real quick, with Ray Rogers, I believe he had contact with Judd Danielson because that's the other driver also dropping down the running order.
Here we go, the replay for Chris Progar and James Kunkel, it looks like in turn 3. Progar to the inside, and Kunkel, I don't know if he knew he was there. The contact, and Chris tries to drive it away and just loops it around, and gets missed by everybody except for Travis Stevens. Casey Knighton throws his car into the outside wall to miss him.
But that might end up costing him. I wonder how intact that right front suspension is.
I'm surprised it's not wobbling around.
Right, it looks okay. It's weird because these cars are built like tanks until they aren't. You hit it just right and you'll damage the suspension. But if you hit just around it, it'll be fine. It can take a few hits.
Let's check the onboard here for Chris. The first look at it, I feel like James kind of cuts him off into the corner, but this will be a better tell, I think, into the corner. A bobble there, looks to the inside. Yeah, I would definitely say this is no doing of Chris Progar's. Unfortunately, just gets hit there. I wonder if something broke with the car as well to loop him around. And Casey Knighton, I'm still just so shocked he threw the car into the wall like that.
Actually, saw that this Wednesday in the Outlaw Sim Series. There's a spin in the middle of the pack, and Seth Berger threw his car into the outside wall. He was not as lucky. That was a competitive day over for the 77 there. Yeah, I mean...
Oh, he just locked up the brakes the entire time. Wow.
And that's a tough situation, right? I mean, there's walls on either side. That's where, the pit wall starts. You see smoke. You don't really know where the car is going. It was just instinctual to try to go that direction. And, I mean, looks like he came out relatively okay.
First car off the pit lane is Ray Rogers. That's 35th position, with Parker Bland also taking to the pits. Looks like fuel only potentially for Parker. It looks like maybe 4 tires for Ray. Actually, 4 tires in 10.4 seconds. I'm not so sure about that. Maybe 2 tires for Ray Rogers. Charles Feltz, a 7-second trip down the pit lane, now 37th. Casey Knighton in 38th. And Chris Progar, the main part of that yellow, does lose a lap in all of this. Kind of surprised by that, but I think just trying to get the damage repaired. It looks like they've done exactly that on car 17, and he will line back up in 39th spot, but 1 lap down. That's going to be tough, I think, to fight back from. But the good news is he's the only car 1 lap down. We're on lap 17, and we saw 26 yellows here in the spring.
Well, yeah. And with the thing in the spring as well, we had, similar to tonight, a very clean start. It was just one catalyst that kind of shot the whole thing off. So we will see how the race plays out after this. But the first caution coming to a conclusion here, Andrew.
The iRacing.com pace car leading us into turns 3 and 4, giving the field back to the hands of Mario Miranda and Ross Harlow on the front row. Miranda waiting on that Geico restart zone. Green flag is back out from Richmond. We're racing once more. One lap complete from the restart. On board here with Dustin Reeves in 22nd spot. Oh, somebody's all over the place. Muscarella jumps way out of the throttle. Kip Easley as well. Man, a lot going on in the midfield.
Yeah, I didn't quite see what happened, but I did see Muscarella kind of darting all over the front stretch, and we got a spin in 3. Oh, no.
Curtis Kelly around. Car 29. Oh, and he's going to get by... Wow, he got hit really late by those 3 cars. They all went to the top side to try and miss it, and they all get in it. As he's going to pick up just a little bit of extra damage here.
I believe he was contacted by Austin Shoemaker. It looked like very hard racing.
And Curtis had been in the top 5 that entire first run until the yellow. This is a look back at it. First lap off the restart. Racing here with Daniel Michel. Lawson Peelan behind. Zach Wilson ahead. So at this point, he's still battling for 5th. Running 6th. Comes up the racetrack, up the hill a little bit. It's loose off of Daniel Michel down to the bottom side. And stays on the bottom. And, yeah, Curtis needed to be a lot more careful, I think, in rejoining the field. Tags a couple of cars in his trip up to the outside wall. And a few more come along with him. Looks like Mahar spins to avoid potentially Travis Stevens, Parker Bland, lock it down.
Right at the beginning of that replay, Andrew, you also saw Muscarella get sideways there, too. I don't know if that's something we could also look at as well.
This is one more look at the side-by-side with Curtis Kelly off the second corner, and that trip way down to the bottom, comes back up, and at this point, I mean, Shoemaker's committed to the inside with Joe Sanchez outside. Nothing Austin could have done. Curtis Kelly, I think, just... I don't even know how to describe it. I think just... a little too aggressive right there. Definitely should have given more space and try to stay on the apron.
Yeah, definitely could have woed it down a little bit more. That's the position no driver wants to be in, right? Just kind of getting thrown down off the racing line. But yeah, also Shoemaker, he just kind of got a car up his left side.
That's what had already happened from Alex Muscarella's point of view. We'll go back further and see how he got into that kind of place on the racetrack in the first place. He started a decent ways up, almost to the same area as Curtis Kelly. You can see Curtis at the bottom of the frame, probably around the 12th position or so. And out of turn number 4, just out of Richard Swavely, gets loose on his own, goes all the way down. Kip Easley, oh wow, nearly slams into Richard Swavely easily, I think, scattered in case something happened. And there's where you see Dustin Reeves go on by. And let's go to the onboard of car 8, actually. Warren Kyle Keith, who ends up in part of this. That's the 48. Here is car 8. Warren Kyle Keith in a brand new number now. Ooh, gets into Brandon Banks a lot. Locks it down and gets hit by a couple of others. Brad Fulham and Justin Erb both.
I think, actually, I couldn't hear if there's any contact in the rear, but it looked like fairly clean to get through that.
It wasn't heavy contact, but there was just enough. I mean, that's just part of it, though, Emerson. This is a decently wide short track, but room runs out so quickly when you have a car broadside, and everybody scatters, and everybody can scatter so much here because there is so much room, but then every lane is already taken.
Oh, yeah, I mean, definitely. And at that point, you know, there's 20 cars ahead of you, there's smoke and cars scattering. It's chaos. So I think, for what it's worth, I think the 8 Warren Kalkeef, he got through relatively well through that. But this is what I was fearing, Andrew. One caution kind of kicking it all off. Hopefully we can get things rolling here a little bit more smoothly. But 2 yellows are early here.
Not quite a tenth of the way into the show today, as one more ticket on the pit lane is Casey Knighton once more. Hate that he got all that damage on that first incident. He's one of the rookies, obviously. You can see the rookie strips in the back of his car. Came in at the same time as Cody Kinsey back at Talladega. It's been fun to see how he's done so far. Comes in and just rolls through the pit lane. It looks like as the entire field going to work down to turns 3 and 4. Mario Miranda will take back over here in just a moment and get this race restarted in the Geico restart zone. Lap 25 begins with car 99 out front. Green flag one more time at Richmond. Out of turn 4, Miranda still leads. Ross Harlow, though, with that challenge from Zach Wilson, as you saw in turn 3. Wilson to the inside of turn 1 once again, and this is a fantastic battle for the second spot. Emerson, we questioned Zach Wilson, and if he was here to play, well, he is battling for second with Harlow, and I think he's got it.
Fighting hard on it, down on the bottom side, but yeah, when you're on that outside, Andrew, you know, it's so easy to keep your speed up, and the car on the inside cannot use all the racetrack that they want to. Still battling in the ones. Wilson's got to drive it in deep and almost do like a slide job maneuver, and I think he got through that time. Harlow files in behind, and Zach Wilson up to second. But what is his game plan to get through to 99?
I'm not sure there really is one. You've just got to go and try and challenge him, see if you can pressure Mario into a mistake. Mistakes from him are rare, but they do happen every once in a while. Chris Shoemaker crashing on the front stretch. Not Shoemaker, but Whittington is in the crash. Multiple others, looks like Ryan Kendall. I think Judd Danielson was also slow.
I saw the 3 wide, and Danielson was in the middle, and it was tightening up, and I knew it wasn't going to end well. Yeah, Whittington, bunch of damage there.
Ryan Kendall as well, although look like the damage is actually too bad for car 68. It looks like maybe a little bit to the left rear, and yeah, some damage there on the nose. That's going to be a problem for the Fast Banana driver.
Somebody ate the inside wall.
I would hate to imagine that it might line up with the damage on car 17 again. We'll go back and look as a whole lot just happened before us. Jesse Whittington battling with Chris Shoemaker, as we'll see. Judd Danielson. Whittington is in the middle there. Shoemaker down low. And down the front stretch, what happens? Oh boy, 2 cars come together, and Danielson part of that. Wow. That was Kendall on the inside. They got the inside wall, and really that's about it.
It looked like Whittington bobbled out of 4 and then kind of steered the car into the slide, kind of into the path of Danielson. They just came together, and I'm sure Kendall, his incident was more or less just trying to avoid it, and maybe somebody else trying to avoid as well, just came together.
Yeah, Kendall's only a couple of cars back. This is another look at things. Chris Shoemaker down low, Judd Danielson up high, Kevin Hurley behind. Contact there already. Whittington out of the corner. Bobbles a little bit, just comes up and gets himself into Judd Danielson. Ryan Kendall gets turned off of Richard Swavely, it looks like, into the inside wall. And a lot of damage for car 68.
That was a heavy hit. I know there's safer barrier in now, but with this scan, that's just flat concrete. That is that one's not gonna bode well for the car.
Driver out of New York. This is a look as to what happens for Ryan Kendall on board with them. You'll feel the brunt of this impact as things start out. He turns left, gets turned. That is a big hit.
It'll be intriguing to see if he tries to fight through today. Continue on with that. That is for sure engine damage, no doubt. So it'll be. It looks like he's still out there, so he's gonna fight through it.
He is still on the racetrack as these guys get ready to go back green flag racing in a few moments. The field gonna double up this time across the start finish line. And Emerson, we are still not quite halfway through stage number 1. Stage 1 gonna end at the beginning of lap 75. Stage 2 will end at the beginning of lap 150, giving us a 100 lap run to the end. So 75, 75, 100, and things are definitely slow going so far. How do you get into a run, Emerson, at one of these racetracks? How do you establish momentum? How do you establish that kind of ebb and flow of getting green flag laps in?
Well, I think, well, certainly, I when I run races at Richmond, it just kind of feels like it's supposed to go green. I feel like everybody just kind of spreads out, and if there are mistakes, they're very minimal. Everybody gives space in a 250 lap race, but that's easier to do with half the field size, or 2/3 of the field size. This is a lot of cars. You add the pressure of the season, the regular season coming to a close. People that are in somewhat desperate situations to improve their standing in the playoffs or make it into the playoffs. It's much harder when you compact the race like this. Early in the season, I'd give a pass. Most of those drivers maybe didn't know how one another race, and it was one of the early short tracks in the season. At this point of the season, you know who you're racing. This is one of those tougher events.
I will say I'm surprised by the 3 cautions already in 30 laps. As you mentioned earlier, we had a pretty green run to start things off in the spring. I'm surprised we have taken this long to get going, and we still aren't into any kind of green flag run, but hey, maybe it happens this time. Mario Moretta outside, Zach Wilson inside. That's your front row. Green flag gonna fly once again. We're back racing at Richmond. Lap 34 will go complete this time, and sure enough, Mario Miranda stays out front. The first side-by-side with Austin Reedy as he gets passed up by cars on the outside. Wyatt Brackett, Joe Sanchez trying to follow. A lot of rookie stripes into that first corner. Sanchez, Reedy, and Peel all sporting those yellow stripes on the back of their cars. All first-year campaigns for them, and they have all been so good. Each of them winning at least 2 races. Sanchez with a couple, most recently at Charlotte. Austin Reedy won the first 2 races of the season, and of course Lawson Peel, maybe the best driver of the season, Emerson. For a long time we thought it was Mario Miranda or Steven Stempien. Now 7 wins on the name rail of that car on the C-post, and I think it's easy to admit we might have been wrong early.
Certainly, and that's part of it, right? A 36 race season or 35 race season, you can get shifts in momentum. And we may not be done yet. We still only have 1, 2, maybe 3 more shifts in momentum before this season is over. Lawson Peel right now, if he's starting to peak now, right before the playoffs, this is a good time to.
I don't want to jinx him too bad or anything, talk him up too much in case he just, ends up faltering at some point later on. But he has just been so good. It's hard not to talk about at least the recent success for him. 3 wins in a row, those being Pocono, Indianapolis, Michigan. And in fairness, I guess, to kind of come off the Lawson Peel train a little bit, he told us when he won at COTA, his first win of the season, our first broadcast here, that he felt like he was going to excel at the summer racetracks. Places like Pocono, Indianapolis, Michigan, exactly. He got wins for each of those races, the only trips to those tracks, I think, showing that he definitely called his shot and called it right early on.
For sure, he backed up what he said there in March, for sure. And has absolutely left the rest of his competitors in the dust in terms of wins. It'll be something to see if anybody is able to start matching his win total here in the back half of the season.
Meanwhile, Zach Wilson continuing to put some pressure on Mario Miranda, really for the first time all day. 40 laps in, none of these leaders have pitted. In fact, the first car on tires pitted 20 laps ago. That was Justin Winters. He is in the 21st spot, so your top 20 still on the same tires and Sunoco race fuel they started the race on. And you can see the evidence there. Wilson losing a lot of time at a turn 4, Miranda pulling away. Mario's been so good this season. At tracks that he feels comfortable at, it looks like he always is good at saving tires.
Oh, yeah. Mario Miranda definitely has to be up there. This is intriguing with Zach Wilson. Right, he's led 346 laps this season. 324 of them here and 22 were at Las Vegas. It feels like this track kind of just suits him, and maybe Vegas. I don't really know what it is, but Zach Wilson might have this track down to a pack, and he's right there on the rear end of Miranda, even sideways. He's able to keep up with him down the back straightaway. But Zach Wilson, I'm sure, have this one circled for a while.
And Zach, he hasn't made every single race this season, but he's got the win here at Richmond, and he's got the laps led, as you mentioned, from Las Vegas. But otherwise, he's 35th in the standings, Emerson. Until this week, we thought he was out of the playoffs. We didn't think he had a chance. We thought he would be outside of the criteria to make it by NASCAR rules, but this is the MPI Cup Series, and that rule is not yet in place. So he is eligible for the playoffs with his one race win from Richmond, despite being 35th in the standings, and that's important because he has been off. I mean, he has been entirely off the rest of the season. There have been some shines of brilliance. I think New Hampshire might have been one of those races, but otherwise, this guy has struggled so much, and not necessarily in terms of speed, but just in terms of finishing the race. There's been a lot of bad luck that's come his way, and he's just been rough and tumble as far as just trying to power through and finish these races. It has not usually gone well. We'll see if that changes today. We're only on lap 45, though, as Ross Harlow is starting to gain on him. We could have a 3-car battle for the lead here.
Certainly, you're seeing the aggression out of Wilson, right? I wonder what the shape of his tires are going to be. Can he go another 30 laps of this to the stage end, right? Or will his tires start to kind of taper off, and will Harlow have to start taking advantage of that? And will Miranda be able to pull away? Right now, I don't know if Zach Wilson is overdriving himself to keep up with Miranda, or he just has the outright pace and is running with Miranda. And Harlow, of course, is just running with as well. I'd imagine Harlow is more of waiting and seeing what happens with the two in front of him.
And it's good to bring up Ross Harlow now into the top 20 in overall standings, negating the playoffs. That means he's 21st in playoff standings, and I mean, that's a good ways back. I want to say around 65 points out of the playoffs on points alone. And he could technically make that up, but it's going to be oh so tough. He's got to rely on a win, realistically, between the next 3 races tonight, Watkins Glen, and Daytona. So it's go time for Ross, and he's been showing that. Last week in the top 10, led a lot of laps. Thought he might win one of these races recently, and I mean, he's 3rd right now. Car 5 is certainly looking good when he needs to.
Absolutely, Ross Harlow. Why not, right? Harlow definitely could pull off a win in one of these next 3 weeks.
He has plenty of times before. He's actually gone deep in the playoffs. He has gone to the Final 4 before in this MPI Cup Series. There's no reason he can't do it again.
Certainly. Even if he doesn't win, though, if he could just really perform well tonight and, you know, stay here in the stage points for the stage 1 and match that in stage 2 and get a good result at the end of the race, he's going to put himself right in the thick of that points battle and sideways down the back straight. I believe that's Mahar.
That was Joseph Mahar out of turn number 2. This battle is starting to pick up and really spice up, and I caught my eye on timing and scoring. Logan Sturgeon right in the middle of this. Warren Kyle Keith, Sean Kalist, Joseph Mahar, Ray Rogers, Isaac Mock, James Kunkel, 6-7 cars. Justin Urban there as well, although Justin looks like he is 1 lap down in 36th. Brad Fulham, by the way, out of this race, 25 laps down. Ryan Kendall, 12 laps down after repairing damage. Jesse Whittington, 4 laps down after repairing his own damage. These guys battling just outside of the top 20 as Warren Kyle Keith starts to drive away in the 20th position. Kind of gives you context as to where they are, and this pace has slowed down, Emerson. These guys are turning 24 threes, and that's a second off.
Oh, yeah, and part of that is the high track temp. It really eats these tires up.
Oh, 3 wide.
Oh, man. And I've been watching Kalis. Kalis has been having some near misses with some of his competitors back here. It is tough back here in the middle of the pack. It is no easy
oh, we're
run.
crashing.
Oh, we got to spin on the back straight away.
Right in
Where
front
does
of these
Kalis
guys.
go? Wow.
Joseph Maher in the 19.
Oh, man.
And he is junked. One of the transaxles is broken. I can't tell if it's the right rear or the left rear. I think it's the left side. But there's really no good way of seeing right now. Yeah, it's the left rear. You can see it there.
Yeah, that's 8 minute 20 at least. That one's tough.
He'll take the tow. Let's go back and see what happened to car 19. It was racing with Logan Sturgeon, who was just in the battle we were talking about. Justin Erb there. Hopefully there's no involvement with Justin being a lapped car. Conventional wisdom says he got loose on the exit of the corner, but there was a lot of damage for it to just be that. Out of the corner, sure enough, gets loose, overcorrects into the wall. Wow, yes, Justin Erb involved, but... Oh, Jesse Whittington, wow.
Yeah, Whittington involved in his second caution tonight. This one not of his doing. And Mahar, the car stepped out on him. Very difficult conditions. Whittington is just disconnected better, so his day is over. That's tough. It's a very tight short track. It's hard to say, just spin it out, right? You want to try to save it instinctually, but it just wasn't anywhere to do that.
This is the onboard of Justin Erb. You can see the 19 get loose, come up into him. And then Jesse Whittington, seeing the smoke ahead, just, yeah, got that one wrong. And that did break the right front.
Yeah, he caught that one tonight. It was already going rough with the first incident, and then having to wait another 8 minutes and 20 seconds for to replace the tail link wasn't gonna bode well.
Our leaders still have not pitted, but if they haven't been shown the opportunity yet, there are an awful lot of them down on the inside. And no, we will not see pit stops just yet, it looks like. I'm honestly quite surprised that we haven't seen at least a few drivers come in from the top 20. Justin Winters pitted 34 laps ago. Warren Kyle Keith 35 laps ago under the same caution. They are the only 2 drivers in the top 20 that have pitted at all. And you can see these drivers are sailing right by that pit entry, Emerson. I'm kind of shocked that at least one of them wouldn't go off cycle, especially now that we've cleared the first fifth of the race. They have 5 extra sets of tires. Clearly they're wanting to stack them for later, but they would be able to make a lot of stage points up if they were to take them.
Well, at this point, we had a little bit of green flag run, right? I wouldn't imagine, wanting to stay out here. But I'm imagining that a lot of drivers are, like you said, second up for later, knowing that we're going to... we might have a rough one on our hands tonight, right? And you want to keep yourself some fresh sets of tires, so you can come in and maybe flip the race. If there's anything you can do later, give yourself options later.
And since we have actually a moment here, we're running out of caution time. I don't want to lose this opportunity. Charles Feltz, he is the first driver on tires right now from this caution. Let's bring him in and ask him what brought him down the pit lane for tires. Charles, you're one of the few takers under this yellow. You're the first driver on new tires. Quickly, before we restart, what brought you down the pit lane?
Actually, I haven't taken tires yet. I'm just, I'm in the back anyway. I just keep topping off on fuel.
So why do you guys all keep saving tires? You have 5 extra sets. That should be enough.
Well, I'm not the best with pit strategy, and I'm trying to save one for maybe a late race caution, only because we've had so many cautions already.
There you go. Charles Feltz giving us an insight to his strategy, buddy. Best of luck on the restart.
Thank you, friend. Appreciate it.
Let him get back to it as we go back green flag racing from Richmond. That was really close to the cutoff line there for the interview, but good to hear that kind of insight from somebody in the midfield, really the back of the field, pitting, not even taking tires, just fuel, as we resume racing on lap 58 of 250. 1 lap will go complete, and of course that goes the way of Mario Miranda, but now Ross Harlow has a challenger.
Yeah, Wyatt Brackett is inserting himself back into the mix. He was up here early on, right? Brackett was putting some fight up here. He kind of, fell back, and the restarts kind of phased him out, but he's back in it, looking for that third spot here. In the stage points, at least we have the stage coming up in the next 16 laps now, and this is a battle that's going to go on for a while because Harlow needs every point he can get. If he doesn't end up winning, he needs every single point.
Brackett might have got the wall at a turn 4. We saw from the speed shot, he was right up on it. If he didn't hit it, I'd be surprised. As they go down to turn number 3, Lawson Peel now to the inside of the 10. Oh, Harlow way up the racetrack. Bobbles on the bottom side and loses that corner entirely. Here comes Lawson now on car 5.
Yeah, I think that was Harlow just kind of trying to make sure he can try to keep his spot, and in turn overdrove the entry to corner. He lost 1, 2, and he's at danger of losing the third spot here.
Called 3, 4, 5. Even Austin Shoemaker could be the final car to pass him here as Harlow starts to get freight trained up top. Austin Reedy to the inside. Reedy, a very capable driver, was good here in the spring.
Yeah, Reedy led laps here.
A ton. If it wasn't going to be Lawson Peel, it was going to be either Mario Miranda or Austin Reedy winning here. Sorry, not Lawson Peel. If it wasn't going to be Zach Wilson, it would have been Mario Miranda or Austin Reedy here earlier in the season. So the 96, also a very good driver here at Richmond. Here's the onboard with Joe Sanchez. And Emerson, I know you like this paint scheme, but Joe, I think, putting together a very solid race quietly in the top 10. This is what he needs if he wants to keep himself in playoff contention. Well, not contention, but playoff form, if you will.
Certainly. Oh yeah, he is. He's looking pretty in terms of playoff seeding. But why wouldn't you want to, try to improve upon that? Maybe playoff points or race wins could be up for grabs right now. Joe Sanchez doing a nice job staying competitive up inside the top 10. And you're right, the Ally colors do look nice.
Riding right here behind Austin Reedy. Lawson Peel way up the track. For a moment, I thought they were slowing down for a caution. That's just how slow they are in center of the corner, Emerson. Of course, none of these guys have pitted just yet. They are running 24 flats, 24 ones, and they are just slow, so slow at the center of the corner. It's really weird to look at. And I will say, the little bit of the race I got to watch today, it really did look like even the NASCAR guys were just almost at a snail's pace here at Richmond. Something with this Gen 7 car, it's weird here at Richmond, but it's tough.
Yeah, I was really shocked at the pace at the end of the straightaways in the real life race today. I could have sworn we were hitting faster speeds, but I'm looking at it here, and with this track temp, it's almost mirroring those same speeds. So it really is a very tough track conditions. I was shocked that drivers were getting over 130 at the end of straightaways, and we're just clipping past 130 here.
Austin Reedy, Joe Sanchez now side by side. Sanchez on the outside in the 55 car. And we are less than 10 laps away from that stage break. Daniel Michel, Alex Muscarella just outside of the stage points as Kevin Hurley now puts some pressure on Michel. I saw him bobble a little while ago, the 25 that is, of Daniel Michel, and maybe catch the fence in that Chevrolet. And that time, a bit of a better exit, gets back ahead of Kevin Hurley outright, and will hang on to that spot. But now Alex Muscarella able to pressure Dakota Curtis for the final spot in stage points and the final stage point available. Battle for 10th.
And Muscarella, he has had a very action-packed opening stage up and down of a midfield here and is working his way up alongside the 23. Dakota Curtis can't keep up alongside him, or at least keep the power down. He'll drive it deep into 3, slides up a little bit. Dakota keeps his foot down on the outside. Usually it's easier to keep the speed up on the outside, but Muscarella will muscle his way by the 23 into turn 1.
Solid pass from Muscarella, finally getting on by car 23. Dakota Curtis with that new look on that Toyota Camry. Recently switching numbers as Hurley goes down to the inside of the racetrack, loose out of the corner. Gives up a lot of spots. Oh, nearly back up into Brandon Banks and Warren Kyle Keith. That was dangerous. And you can see Emerson, speaking of the 8 car, Warren Kyle Keith, also a new look for this guy. Now in car 8 and a Chevrolet from that Ford Mustang he's been running in car 22 for a while. And started this season off in the number 42 Chevrolet, then moved over to the number 22 Ford Mustang, now in the number 8 Chevrolet Camaro, and passing Daniel Michel here at Richmond as Kip Beasley tried to fill that void. Warren is 13th on some tires. I don't know that he gets all the way to 10th, but he is on rails right now by comparison.
I was gonna say, yeah, he's the first person with a pit stop time on my timing and scoring, so definitely looking pretty stout here. Is there potential he stays out at the stage break?
I don't know about that. He's been 51 laps on these tires. He pitted around lap 20. That would be dangerous.
I see that. But he does have fresher tires than his competitors, so maybe the opportunity for a stage point, well, yeah, it's kind of come and gone at this point. But a nice rally to this point to give him track position.
Look at this gaggle of cars. Daniel Michel, Kip Easley. I mean, they are all over the place. Kevin Hurley, Ray Rogers here. Justin Winters also on tires. Hurley pitted about 5 laps earlier than Warren Kyle Keith and Justin Winters. These guys are moving all over the place. But up towards the front, it's all Mario Miranda now by 2.3 seconds over Lawson Peel in second. He has gotten by Zach Wilson and all of our fun and commotion with the rest of the field. 1 lap to go here in stage 1, and this is how things look. It is spread out up front.
Yeah, Mario Miranda, he has opened up a gap. I'd imagine maybe some of that is knowing that he is going to get a stage break here very soon, and a fresh set of tires can go on to 99 somewhat soon, and he can burn up a little bit. But my goodness, he has opened up a 2-second gap. I know we haven't had that long of a run, but here he comes to the line.
Stage 1 complete for Mario Miranda. Lawson Peel, Zach Wilson, Wyatt Brackett, Ross Harley, your top 5. Joe Sanchez, Austin Shoemaker, Austin Reedy, Chris Shoemaker. Look at that battle of the line as Alex Muscarella will take the final stage position, the final stage point inside the top 10. That was certainly a stage, Emerson. That was a fun one. A couple of cautions as we saw. No lead changers, though. When can these guys get to car 99? I think that's a big question.
Right here on pit road. That might be the first opportunity, right? Seeing if there's any shortcomings of strategy. Is somebody going to be crazy enough to try 2 tires? So, how are the left side tires? Is there anybody who pitted on that most recent caution that maybe flips the stage here? I don't know. We're going to find out, though, as pit lane is open, and they are taking this time.
Coming down the pit lane is going to be just about everybody, and if it's not everybody, I would be rather surprised as you could see cars sailing by the pit entry light. Into the pits first will be Mario Miranda, of course. 4 tires and fuel going to be the call up and down pit lane, but who gets back onto the racetrack first? Lap 77 under caution. Miranda up on the jacks, now the left side. Ross Harlow a few steps behind as you can see the 25 come in way behind these guys. Here comes Lawson Peel and the rest of these guys. Lawson will get him.
Oh.
Wow.
I said it.
But
I think
Zach
Peel
will
was
not.
maybe... Zach Wilson does not. I think that was maybe Miranda taking it very easy on the entry to a box, right? Stopping the box, making sure he doesn't slide through it. Peel maybe more aggressive. That would have been it right there.
A bit of shade over the racetrack now, cooling things down right before this stage number 2 begins. And Curtis Kelly stays out under this yellow, taking no tires, no fuel, of course, staying on the racetrack. That's going to be an interesting one. And Wyatt Brackett's got a penalty.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Wyatt Brackett was up there inside the top 5. And this is not what you want here at Richmond. There's a lot of unknowns here when it comes to Richmond, and putting yourself in the back of the pack could lead to some danger.
Let's grab our stage number 1 winner. We've said that a lot this season. Mario Miranda, back to your stage winning ways. Congratulations on the first stage win, but how do you go from here? Lost 1 spot of the pit lane, 1 car staying out. How do you navigate this?
I have to get back to the lead as quickly and as cleanly as possible. Get that clean air on my front nose. That's what really helps when trying to save tires. So I plan on doing that, and I'm very confident in my car right now. I'm very confident in my tire saving abilities for once at a short track. It's usually I'm the short run kind of guy, but I finally got it checked out, and having that 2.5 second gap at the end of the stage really gives me confidence. Just got to keep the car clean.
And of course, Zach Wilson behind you. He led 324 laps here in the spring and went to victory lane. How do you top that?
Phoenix earlier this year, I led 210 out of 250, and you know, me and Rich Wilson have had a lot of experience with each other, racing each other at Richmond and trucks, Xfinity cars, and Cup cars. So, you know, I guess this time we can make it interesting, a good racing instead of a dominance performance from one driver.
How do you feel about that Lawson Peel guy, by the way, going up to 7 wins now in the season? Can you try and match that 3 wins in a row here to close out the regular season?
Yeah, I feel pretty confident, and he still has to beat 8 wins from last season until I'm upset. But as of right now, I still have the most wins in the season, so still going strong.
There you go, Mario Miranda. He'll be restarting 3rd place in his BRTV number 99. Congratulations to Sage Wengo. Get another one.
Thank you, sir.
Miranda will restart 3rd. For the first time, not out front, as Curtis Kelly will lead us down to the green flag here in just a couple of moments. What can these guys do up front? Green flag on the way. We're back racing in stage number 2. Pretty calm battle up front, but it's not going to stay that way, Emerson. A lot of hungry drivers, a lot of quick drivers with brand new Goodyear Eagles on their iRacing machines are going to be battling to the inside of the 29. Miranda, though, to the inside. Oh, going to send it 3 wide on Curtis Kelly. That's how you get it done.
The aggression by both Miranda and Lawson. Peel of A make easy work of Curtis Kelly, and Kelly is now hanging on for dear life. He is now into the middle of the pack, but we've got this battle for the lead. Peel trying to get that run up off the corner, but Miranda powers on through.
There's no way Lawson Peel appreciated that 3 wide send into 1, but that was the fastest lap of the race now for Mario Miranda. How about that? A 22.720. That kid is flying right now as he powers now away from Lawson Peel. Zach Wilson to the inside of Curtis Kelly. And that 29, of course, is going to fall back, but he got his lap led. He's got some track position. If we get a quick yellow, he can get some quick tires and start to come back through the field. Actually, he might actually want us to go about 20 laps before we get a yellow flag.
It certainly makes tires mean something a little bit, and it's very hard to pass here in the green flag run, Andrew. The send! No! Harlow backs out and still stays down to the inside of Joe Sanchez, still side by side down the front stretch. Curtis Kelly holding station, but it takes a lot to make an overtake happen here around Richmond. You see Curtis Kelly still holding strong up there.
Whoa, Dakota Curtis way back there, hangs onto the car, but loses a lot of time and a lot of positions. Now behind Kip Easley in the 16th position, but back up to Curtis Kelly. Ross Harlow gets on by, now trying to hold up Joe Sanchez, but Joe will get right on by in turns 1 and 2. And now Austin Reedy, the next driver, to take a look at the number 29 Chevrolet Camaro. And Austin now going to pull to the inside. It should be relatively easy work from here. Curtis was lucky in a couple of those battles at first, but now these guys are a bit more spread out, a bit more single-filed out. They can get by him a little bit more easily.
You're right, but again, the tires are going to equal out a little bit. The newness of the tires are going to fade off. And supposed to be easy. A little bit of contact there with Austin Shoemaker. Austin just trying to keep himself up inside the top 10. Curtis Kelly here can hold station here just around the top. Oh, contact
Chris
behind
Shoemaker getting turned by Alex
Muscarella.
Muscarella. The 48 does a full spin. The 4 powers away. Muscarella might have been in the barriers.
That car looks clean. I don't know if he's bobbling for the bumps or suspension damage.
Let's go back and find out what... Well, we saw pretty much what happened, at least from the corner of our eye there. But this will be a good look at things as car 48 powers to the inside of Chris Shoemaker, trying to make a move. Chris, I think, maybe not expecting it. To be fair, I don't think I would have either, as they both turned in for the corner, and Alex gets into the 4. Locks up the tires and noses it maybe into the wall there. Maybe just a little bit. I don't think Curtis wanted this yellow just yet, but it is an opportunity if he wants to go ahead and take tires. Let's go to the onboard with Alex Muscarella. We'll see really what happened. Just a bit of a lunge. That's actually a lot of a lunge.
Aggressive, right? Muscarella has been up and around the midfield. He was up inside the top 10 right there, right? He was ninth. I don't see the need to make a lunge like that, but I know there's the need, to try to improve that track position. It gets hard to come by when the field gets spread out. I think that's a little bit of a desperation move.
Musgrove does pit. He drops down to 32nd position. Only ahead of Judd Danielson and Casey Knighton on the lead lap as Judd pulls up behind him. Casey Knighton, I'm kind of surprised to see on the lead lap. Ryan Kendall now, the first car one lap down. Well, the first car lapped. He is 11 laps down, though, in 35th spot. Jesse Winnington now joining Brad Fulham out of the race. So a lot's changed, but really only 2 cars out of the race. A few cars hanging on, like Joseph Mahar, Justin Erb, with a lot of damage. But I gotta say, 90 laps in, the amount of yellows we've seen, Emerson, I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen a track blocker, and I'm probably jinxing something. Hang on, let me get to my spot here. I'll knock on wood for these guys. I would have expected more cars out of the race at this point if we had this many yellows. 6 cautions for 26 laps. It's not been an easy race by any means.
No, it hasn't been, Andrew, and you say that. We still have 37 still running. So it's not out of the realm of possibility, Andrew. Big field, small track, aggression, time winding down before the playoffs. It's plausible. I think these wrecks have just kind of been happening just in the right places for people to miss them.
Miranda will lead us down to the next restart. Who catches your eye in this top 10? I mean, I know who I've got my eye on, and there's definitely a few out of the top 10, Emerson, right here that I'd be looking at. But who catches your eye out of this top 10 as far as, I guess, a surprise? Mario Miranda, Austin Peele, Zach Wilson, they're off the board here for you, but who else?
As a surprise, I'd say the Shoemakers. I'd say both of them. They're up here. They're both fighting right on that cut line for the playoffs here. I was a little shocked you didn't get more of them at the stages, right? A little bit more aggression there for the stages, but they're up here now. Is there anything they can do to improve their positions for stage 2?
Yeah, Chris and Austin both need the points. Let's bring up the playoff seeding for a moment. Austin in by 9, Chris out by 6, and that's coming into tonight. That's not counting whatever happened in stage 1. And I think Austin got some stage points. I don't recall seeing Chris Shoemaker much in the battle, but we'll see what these guys can do the rest of the way. Up front, we have got a run to the restart. Lap 93 will fly. Green flag back out at Richmond. Lap 93 comes to a close. It's still Miranda out front, on board further in the back with Parker Bland as he gets passed up by Justin Winters off of the restart. Now lunges back to the inside of turn 1. You can see Chris Progar up here in 16th. Get Beasley in 17th. Some drivers try to turn their days around.
Yeah, Progar had a rough start to today. I'm actually very impressed with the recovery drive he's made so far.
Oh, no. Parker Bland down to the grass. You saw him light the rears up, get a little bit loose out of the corner. Now gets back onto the racetrack as some cars go on by. Oh, I hate that we were wide for that to happen to him, but at least saves the race car. He's going to drop way back to Emerson. Last car of this lead group now behind Ryan Kendall. 34th spot.
Yeah, tough spot there for Parker. But still a lot of racing to go. A lot of chances for him to make that up. You got a battle here between Peel and Harlow, though. Whoa, Harlow sideways.
Zach Wilson way down to the bottom as well. Hangs on to that car. We'll keep going, as he will now be side by side with Austin Reedy.
Zach Wilson trying to hang on to what he's got here. Austin Reedy, this is a driver I think we've been kind of waiting to see what would happen once he got up here, up inside the top 5, up towards the podium. He has cleared his way by Zach Wilson, and I'm sure Reedy would like to show that he can lead some laps here tonight. Oh, we got a wrecker, Alpha 4. Looks like Kevin Hurley came to a stop. It might be okay.
He's getting passed up by a lot of cars. Very slow, pulling away from the crash site. No caution. And he will drop all the way down out of the 34th spot behind Parker Bland. So for somebody that looked promising in the early going to have this issue under green and not get a yellow for it, that's going to be tough to fight back from for car 42. Back up front, or at least close to the front, Curtis Kelly now in the top, well, just hanging on to the top 10 ahead of Warren Kyle Keith. That might not be that way for long, though. The 8 right on his back bumper. These two are going to battle it out to turn number 3. Warren now on the same tires as the race leaders. His slight advantage he had at the back end of stage 1 is raised, but definitely a big advantage compared to the 29 car.
Yeah, Curtis Kelly, you know, for what it's worth, we've ran a lot of laps down under green since the stage, and doing a very nice job of keeping himself up here. But Warren Kyle Keith, he's, again, a driver who's been trying to work his way up here with the stop he made there in stage 1, and up
there
inside the top 10. Potentially, he's got the run now. It's going to be a battle.
Warren finally going to get by the 29, it looks like. Maybe not just yet. There we go. Position made. Excuse me, position made there for the 8 car. And his first outing with that new number looking pretty good as here comes Dakota Curtis to the inside of Curtis Kelly. Contact there. Curtis up the racetrack into Curtis.
Yeah, a little bit of a charge into the corner there for Dakota, but Curtis Kelly will hold station up there, and again, fighting valiantly on those old tires.
Not only do these two have, well, one of them has the same last name as the other first name, but now they're both in red and white and black cars, and Dakota made his number that much closer to Curtis. Now we got a 23 and a 29 that have the same colors on the racetrack right now. They have the same name, but switched around. As, oh, Curtis Kelly cuts off the nose to Ray Rogers. That's going to be an interesting one down to turn number 3. Daniel Michel in this battle as well. This is now for 12th position. We'll go to the onboard from Daniel Michel, sitting back there in the 14th spot.
And again, getting right up to that rear end. Trying not to light up the rears. Rogers peeking now to the inside of Curtis Kelly. And that will open a door for Michel. Ray will clear. Michel wants a piece. And he'll make that easy work. Looks like Justin Winters wants to get involved.
I've not talked much about him this season. He was good earlier on. It's really faltered since, but it has still been hanging on and getting some good finishes when he can. I think gaining valuable experience in this MPI Cup Series and just continuing to learn. And right on the apron, I think followed Daniel Michel, but a bigger slide for the 88 car. He will now drop down to the, what was that, 16th spot, 17th spot, 18th spot behind a few cars. Wyatt Brackett, Isaac Mock, and some others.
Continuing to learn the MPI Cup Series, that'll be a learning experience. Very difficult to see that yellow line all the way around here when there's a car right in front of you. It does block that field of vision to the inside, and he got a little too low sideways.
Hendry.
Justin Hendry, another driver who's had a rough day today.
Here we go, a battle for 9th. Warren Kyle Keith getting on by Brandon Banks. And the 8 continues to get better and better, and we've seen a lot of wins in past years for the number 8 at Richmond. Think back to Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the mid-2000s, the mid-aughts, if you will. So good here at Richmond for so long. Went over to the 88 car and had that initial flash of brilliance, and of course got wrecked by Kyle Busch. And after that, it really seemed like he never got back to his usual ways. But in the case of Warren Kyle Keith, something is changing. This 8 car is looking fantastic today as it comes alive more and more as this race goes on. Started deep in the field, 33rd spot. Currently 9th, this is the highest he's been. He's been as low as dead last. 39th position, Emerson. This is looking good for car 8.
Yeah, Warren Kyle Keith, he's been all over the map. A huge run here to the inside of Chris Shoemaker. But Warren is trying to make the most out of this, right? And maybe he can grab every position in the field at one point challenge here. That might be what's going on here. But Warren Kyle Keith up to 8th, and he has a little bit of work to do to catch Austin, but certainly is tracking in the right direction.
Now splitting the Shoemakers. As we've got a battle for 2nd. Ross Harlow, Lawson Peel through turns 1 and 2. Harlow to the inside, takes that 2nd spot away. Now Austin Reedy trying to fill the void, will not quite get there. Single file between these 4 into turns 3 and 4, but battling rather heavily. Lawson Peel starting to falter.
Yeah, and again, Peel, he wasn't one of, you know, those mainstays in the top 3, top 5 earlier this season. But Peel, again, he has steadily increased his momentum throughout the season. I think tonight, even though he's coming in on a 3-race win streak, I think just finishing up here, running with these guys, I think will be just labeled as a success for him. Just hanging up here and not really getting yourself into trouble, keeping the momentum in your favor, and maybe being able to do something next week at Watkins Glen. Of course, a nice road course on the table for him. And Austin Reedy trying to peek to his outside. They're both
Problems.
sideways.
Yeah, Austin got the wall a lot right there. 2 or 3 hits to the outside retaining wall. And it doesn't look like it's really holding him back too much just yet, but that definitely is going to be some optional that he has to come and get tended to at some point in today's race. Pulling away, though. Pull away from the incident at least with no issues, and now putting a little bit of gap between himself and Zach Wilson, right back to it. I think for Lawson Peel, there's no expectation really of a win today. He knows he's capable. He knows he probably could win this race, but certain things would have to align. Again, we talked to him multiple times in the spring, especially after Circuit of the Americas, as here comes Reedy once again, trying to challenge loose out of 2, slides back in behind him. But, you know, we talked to Lawson a lot about what he was going to do to follow up that win at Circuit of the Americas, and he never really acted like he was going to win one of those races before really the Memorial Day weekend at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but he did. He went back out there, won at Kansas, got a couple more wins, and has really lit things up lately as he gets passed now by Austin. But this is not a race I think he expects to really win at all, or even contend for a race win. I think the fact that he's in the top 5 this late in the race, Emerson, is already good, and you know he's coming up on halfway. Along with the rest of these guys, to be in this top 5 fight is going to be a good day for Lawson, continuing the momentum that he's already put forth and keeping himself as a very valuable championship contender, leading the way right now for Drinking Bros Racing, and showing that he's serviceable anywhere. He feels good on the summer tracks. Think of places like Pocono, Indy, and Michigan, where he's just won the last 3 weeks, but he's good anywhere.
I was just about to say that, Andrew. I was thinking that, what does the field think of this? A track type that maybe isn't in Lawson Peel's wheelhouse. He's still a podium driver, a top 5 driver. He still is very much a threat up here, and if a couple things could go his way, he could win it. He's put himself in position to take advantage of a couple things to fall in his favor. So the playoff field, if they weren't already scared of him by the massive amount of wins he's picked up already before the playoffs start, it'd be the fact that even on his not the best track types, he's still up here.
Still a ways to go in Stage 2, but as we look towards that cutoff battle in the top 10, Chris Shoemaker currently the final car in, Ray Rogers the first car out, Brandon Banks there as well. Looks like Wyatt Brackett trying to move his way back into those top 10. Of course, we saw the issue he had, the penalty, whether it was speeding or otherwise, under that last cycle of pit stops under the caution. Had an issue, had a penalty, and has fallen way back. And now, maybe a connection issue for Ross Harlow.
Yeah, I noticed that. He has dropped completely down the running order. I think Ross Harlow dealing with some severe connection issues, or might just be completely out of the session at that.
At this point, it's been over a lap, and he has not returned. I'd imagine that's a complete drop of connection to the server. That is a heartbreaker for somebody that really needs a win.
It's somebody who could have used the points as well. Again, he's not. Even if he logs back into the session, there's no way he'd be able to score into the top 10 at the end of Stage 2. And he's now officially dropped out due to packet loss. So this is huge. As a driver who's vying for that playoff spot, Andrew, or a playoff spot, this is going to be a huge bump in the road.
Well, as we continue on, getting closer and closer to halfway, Mario Miranda now leading over a second place Austin Reedy. That's not what we expected a few laps ago, but and he's in the wall hard that time out of turn 2. He's up the racetrack. I think that car is broken. Maybe not. It might not be broken, but that was a big, big slap to the outside wall.
It opens up the opportunity for Lawson Peel to have a chance and Zach Wilson to get through to second. Does Zach Wilson have anything? I know it's not clean air, but it's relatively clean air. With Miranda being 2.7 seconds up the road, can Wilson do anything to try to catch Miranda? Reedy in trouble, looking to see if he can recover. I think he got that wall, and it kind of just sucked him in. It kept him up there. It'll tend to do that to you. Once it grabs you, it holds you.
Warren Kyle Keith now into the top 5 by virtue of Ross Harlow's issues. And this is big. I mean, this guy is on rails right now. He's lapping faster or at the same pace as our race leader, Mario Miranda. There's nobody else on Mario's pace in the 23 or 24.3, 24 low 4 region. That lap a little bit slower for Mario, but so was everybody else in the top 5 except for Warren Kyle Keith. And I do believe fastest car on track that lap was car number 8 as he continues to tear through this top 5, top 10 or so. It was a 24.467. The only car in the top 10 faster, actually, was Ray Rogers by 3/1000ths of a second. Lawson Peel way up the track, trying to search for something.
You know what, Andrew? I think this is one of the longer runs of the race. I don't know if people like Reedy, like Peel, if they were ready for this, or they were driving with the intent that this was going to be a long run. And I think that might be starting to bite them. The rear tires are starting to definitely look used. I think Ross Harlow has just returned to the track. There he is.
34th position, 6 laps down. That is a killer. I mean, that is just absolutely a killer in every single way. I can't imagine how he's feeling. I've been there a few times, but still, never at these high stakes, I will say. Although he does have new tires. He's going to tear back through this field. Might even get one of those laps down, laps back. Be 5 laps down potentially before the end of this stage. And actually, not only is he on good tires right now, Emerson, if these guys have to pit and he doesn't, that's another lap that he can get back, if not 2, as Warren Kyle Keith now battles with Lawson Beal. I wouldn't imagine they have to pit, but we might see some try and pit to game the stage and get fresh tires before the end of stage 2 as he pulls to the outside of Austin Reedy. Reedy almost doesn't give him room. Finally does, and now Austin's going to have to deal with Lawson Peel coming on by.
It could be intriguing. I think 75 or 70 laps from 80 to 150 should be very much doable. Gaming the stage could be tough here, being a short track.
Oh, Austin Reedy!
Reedy, somebody like Reedy might have to, or he might lose more time.
We could see some of these guys with the high track temps, Emerson, pit for tires to keep them from blowing. 130 degrees on the track. With the way these guys are sliding around and abusing the tires continuously, we could see some pit just to try and not blow a tire. And they would know by now, I think, if they were even going to be close with 20 laps to go in the stage, but we're getting close.
Yeah, I think somebody like Reedy, if he's not going to be able to make it to the end of the stage in one piece, he might think of the idea of pitting and just trying to salvage it. And sideways is Shoemaker. Somebody who was inside the top 10 a few laps ago, he's now way down to running water.
Kip Beasley and Isaac Mock. I love short track racing.
They're all over each other back here, yeah.
Isaac Mock looks down to the inside with Kip Beasley. Can't do anything with him. This is 14th for Easley, 15th for Mock, 16th for Reeves. Kind of tells you where these guys are at. Chris Progar here as well, 19th spot. As Warren Kyle Keith is into the top 3, passing Lawson Peel. I don't know where this run is coming from for the 8 car, but he is so good right now on this long run. If we get a long run to the end, you have to consider the 8 car to win this race.
And why not? He has absolutely been on it. He's been able to pass cars in places that other people have struggled to make one overtake. He's worked his way through mostly the entire field. Now, the hardest tasks are to come. Zach Wilson, the most dominant driver in the spring, and the current dominant driver of the day in Mario Miranda. So that's really going to be the true test to see if he's going to be a true factor in tonight's race. But up to the podium, he's showing a lot of muscle.
Now lap 134 as Mario Miranda begins another one. He's kind of on his own, but lap traffic is going to slowly become a story for him in the last 15 laps of this stage. You can see some cars ahead, and that does not look like easy traffic, Emerson. Is there a chance that he gets backed up enough to where Zach Wilson and Warren Keith can rejoin him and potentially make this a fight for the stage win?
Possibly, especially if they're running double wide and they're fighting hard for position. These single cars, they're not going to be too much of a factor for Mario Miranda. I'm looking up to Pax ahead of Mario Miranda. Those are really going to be the question marks. You're going to have to think wisely about what lane you put yourself in. You got to study the cars around you and make sure you don't put yourself next to a car that's getting sideways off the corner and could overcorrect into you. He's got 4.5, maybe 5 seconds now to Zach Wilson, 4.7 seconds. He's got the time to play it through patiently, but will he?
I think the other issue, Everson, is we're looking at James Kunkel ahead of him right now, 30th position. Ahead of that, Casey Knighton 29th, Bill Schoonover 28th, Curtis Kelly 27th. We're getting to guys that are not going to be complete layovers. Maybe in the 30s you'll see guys really just lay over, but James Kunkel, I'm sure while James will give him room to the inside, the rest of these guys, they are going to fight for what they're racing for. Justin Erb might get out of the way because of how far down he is, but the rest of these guys, it's going to get tougher and tougher, significantly tougher as this race goes on. And we get down to the end of it for stage, well, not stage points for these guys, but just the end of the stage. They want to position themselves if they can. And, of course, these points do still matter to them at some point. They want to get ahead of a guy if they can, even if the point payout isn't for another 100 laps.
And for these people, for these guys back here, they know, the nature of Richmond. At least here, with the last race at Richmond, it could become chaotic. You want to keep yourself on the lead lap because anything can happen. I think staying on the lead lap over the course of the next 12 laps is going to be magnified, and you're going to see drivers fight their hearts out to stay on this lead lap.
Joe Sanchez, Lawson Peel, meanwhile, side by side, Ray Rogers here as well. A battle for the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions inside the stage. Austin Reedy and Daniel Michel going after it. Michel getting that spot, Reedy falling back. As these three battle down to turn number 3, we're closing in on the end of the stage, Emerson. 10 laps to go as Warren Kyle Keith brings the fight to Zach Wilson, and it's not much of a fight. The 8 car rolls right on by.
My goodness, Warren Kyle Keith has been on a tear through the field. Put him on equal tires with Mario Miranda, and this is going to be a good one, Andrew.
Ray Rogers here with Joe Sanchez. This is for 4th, and here comes the 1 car. Rogers, since making that switch over at Podium Esports over to 45 Degree Racing with Dakota Curtis and Brad Fulham, I think has some new invigoration with him. He was good earlier in the season, Emerson, but was never really that kind of X-Factor driver. Today it's looking like he has maybe a Y-Factor potentially. He's good, and you know what? Pun unintended at first. Pun not intended initially, but a Y-Factor, I think, fits with the sponsor on the car.
I love that. Big Y on the hood. And why not Ray Rogers, right? He's got the pace to be up here, up in the 4th on the long run. And again, put him on equal tires, give him some, easier track, or not easier, but less congested track conditions. Ray Rogers might have something to say before this one's over.
Ross Harlow is on track to unlap himself again. I don't know that he's going to by the end of the stage, but he is darn close. He's gotten by Mario Miranda, now 5 laps down for the 5 car. This actually could be a big wake-up call for everybody in the field as to how important tires are. Seeing Ross Harlow flat to the field, he's just gone by Wyatt Brackett. Ross is now around 9 seconds behind Miranda. It's going to be a tall order for him to actually make up enough time to get another lap back. But he's lapping at a 23.7. That is over a second faster than Miranda's last time, which was a 25.0, being mired here in traffic as Warren Kyle Keith turned to 25.0 as well. I mean, there's a chance as Ray Rogers suddenly goes from 5th to 3rd.
And I'm starting to see that there are some boys that have been steadily working their way through the field and conserving tires.
Daniel Michel's one of them.
Absolutely. These guys are... There's some names you haven't... Caution's out on the speedway.
Wow. I don't know where that one is, actually. Curtis Kelly, it looks like, is... yes, it's Curtis Kelly in the 29. And that car's destroyed. The left front and the right front, Emerson, I think, are broke. I'm not sure how he's steering, to be honest with you. Let's go back and look at what happens here to car 29, and this ends a long green flag run. If you recall, he was the driver who stayed out at the stage, and again at the caution right after the stage, was on those old tires that had recently been lapped, and something happens to him here in turn 3, loose out of turn 2. Oh, wow. Could he have lost a tire?
I don't know. If there's surely 2 broken suspension pieces on the 29 deck, maybe there was something broke beforehand. You know, he's out there for a while, right? Hot track him. He could have burnt off the right rear or the rear tires for sure.
It was over 70. I think it was over 80 laps even. This is the onboard with Curtis Kelly. He just lost it on power on a straightaway. Wow. I'm actually somewhat surprised that brought out a yellow. But I definitely understand. But that was right in front of the leaders, actually. So he had not... Actually, it was in front of second place. So he had gone 1 lap down, but... He's likely done for the day, as we've got some cars staying out, trying to play the stage, Emerson. 4 of them, in fact. Austin Shoemaker, Wyatt Brackett. No, just Austin Shoemaker. Brackett now comes in with Brandon Banks and Justin Winters. I think they were trying to do the same thing and stay out for the point for leading a lap, if there is one. But they now come in for service. Austin Shoemaker, though, does not.
I'd have to imagine that he was... the drivers would have been told by now if the stage was going to conclude.
And that might be why they pitted. We might be calling that the stage, actually. I'm surprised Austin hasn't pitted yet. Let's see if he pits this time. And he will not. I gotta know. Where is he? You gotta go to Prestige Worldwide, Austin Shoemaker. This seems like it would end the stage. There's no way. We might restart on lap 150. I'm not sure. Let's get Austin Shoemaker. Austin, we're not sure. We're not sure if the stage is ending here with this yellow, but you're still on the racetrack. You haven't pitted. What are you hearing? What do you know?
I am just an idiot, and I missed the stage, so I'm just going to stay out and hope for a quick caution, so we'll see.
Well, there you go. So we're not quite sure exactly where you finish in the stage, but you've slowly been moving up through the field at times, maybe ebbing and flowing. How do you feel about your car? You've only been as low as 12th position today, so that's a pretty good range to be as high as 1st, low as 12th. Where do you go from here in stage number 3, especially now adding a few extra green flag laps?
I definitely prefer some green flag runs. It seems like my tire wear's been pretty good, so if we can stay green, it seems like I might be able to get a couple positions here and there, but we'll see.
We saw a bunch of drivers in that last run, well, keep their tires good, as you just kind of alluded to. Warren, Kyle Keith, Daniel Michel. How do you become one of those drivers on this run and work up through the field?
Honestly, the only way is to get a quick caution here and then be the only one to pit and maybe work my way through the field. So we'll see. Definitely need some luck on my side.
All right, buddy, go get that win. We know you need to get it to lock into the playoffs. We're rooting for car 14 up here.
All right, thanks, guys.
Austin Shoemaker needs a race win, as I just mentioned. Comes into today 6 points above the cut line, I do believe. So he's in right now, Emerson, but would love that security of a race win, and that will complete lap 150. That will end stage number 2. So that will make Mario Miranda the stage 1 and 2 winner. But green flag is back out at Richmond. We're racing once again. Immediately, the 80-lap old tires for Shoemaker getting eaten up.
Yeah, that one was pretty inevitable. It's unfortunate that he missed the pit lane there, but now he's going to be at the mercy of what the rest of the field wants to do with him. And aggression behind contact.
Oh, no! Two cars flipping. Barrel rolling at Richmond.
Barrel rolling. Oh, my goodness. Those are massive hits.
Progar and Sturgeon both.
Oh, sir. Those were heavy.
And Logan Sturgeon just recently joining Burnt Rubber Racing with the Burnt Rubber Media Group. A big addition for their crew with Car 26 now over to a Toyota Camry. Wow. Have you ever, Emerson?
Cars barrel rolling at Richmond outside of chaotic practices. No, I've never.
Wow.
That is something else. Get a good look at those undersides, folks. That's how flat they are.
I've never seen two cars go flipping at Richmond. Maybe one in a freak accident. This is something entirely new. Let's go to the onboard here with Chris Progar. We'll then switch over to Logan Sturgeon here in a second. So this is how things get started. And Progar just going for a gap that I don't really think is there. Here's the onboard for Sturgeon. You'll see the 17 come in. And Chris just misses turn 1. And Logan comes down. I'm not sure if that's an intentional right hook or not, but wow.
I don't know if it was. I think he was trying to just turn in for the corner. He didn't want to be up against the outside wall. Just very compact, right? And probably also a little bit of panic from the field, maybe trying to work their way through the 14 and trying to get all you can on the restart.
Here's the onboard with Progar. And yeah, he just dives way in there. I don't know if that's intentional a dive or not, but dives way in, and he's going to go over. This is the real cool ride. I say cool. The really, I don't even know ride. The chaotic ride for Chris Progar as he goes over 3 or 4 times. Wow. If nothing else, his rough day is going to be a highlight reel.
Oh man, this is Shoemaker. He was involved in that incident with heavy hit on the inside while he was in the first yellow. It's been up and over now, barrel rolling. This track has not been kind to Chris Progar.
No, definitely a track he wants to forget. All of this one kind of, admittedly, a little bit of his own doing, but the actual crash, the flipping, I'm not so. That's just insane.
I mean, if you're a driver coming up to this and you see 2 cars barrel rolling out of control, what are you doing?
Closing my eyes and praying, I think. Let's go on board with Swavely and get a look at it. That's a great point. I mean, what are you going to do in this position? This is the onboard of Swavely. You can see the 4 car of Chris Shoemaker back here, Austin Reedy as well. I mean, they're pretty deep in the field. And just all of a sudden, he even got squeezed in the wall there by Chris Shoemaker. It's going to be a really interesting view of this crash then as there they go. Wow.
Almost may have been a blessing in disguise to give yourself extra time for that incident.
Charles Felt spun after the crash there on the bottom of the racetrack, but it doesn't look like he hit anything. You saw it briefly there from Swavely's perspective. Gonna re-rack him, restack him. Lap 157 now of 250, getting close to 90 laps to go. And it is the 99 that is leading. Warren Keith second, Lawson Peel third, Zach Wilson, Daniel Michel, your top 5 it looks like. Ray Rogers sixth, then Joe Sanchez. Kip easily in the top 10, along with Isaac Mock and Dustin Reeves in the back 3 there. Kip Easley, Isaac Mock, Dustin Reeves, they have been getting randomly good. And I don't mean that as any kind of roast of these guys, but they have admittedly struggled this season. That's just facts. And unfortunately, it's been so much so that they're not really in the running for the playoffs. Kip Easley is. Isaac Mock, I'm not so sure, and Dustin Reeves either. But they are in the top 10 right now at Richmond. They've been good these last few weeks. Let's see what they can do. Stage 3 back underway here, just over 90 laps to go. The challenge already, Warren Kyle Keith down to the bottom of turns 1 and 2. Slow car on the bottom, that's Curtis Kelly. But for the race lead, cars 99 and 8 at Richmond.
And this is what I've been waiting for. After seeing Warren Kyle Keith drive to the field, if we get a good green flag run here, we could see Warren Kyle Keith and Ray Rogers up inside the top 5, top 10. What can they do with less traffic to fight through? This is going to be fun. I don't know if Warren's going to... Obviously, track position would be amazing. To get through Mario Miranda would be something. But if Warren has that in his back pocket of, the long run, if he gets that long run, he wants to play for that.
Warren getting free of the clutches of the 53 car of Lawson Peel, pulling away a little bit. Again, in this new situation with the 8 car, a Chevrolet, and over at TOW Racing, as the caution will fly, Justin Hendry in trouble, it looks like. Bill Schoonover in the back, yep. Car 9. But as far as Warren Keith here, brand new team for him over at TOW Racing now, paired up with guys like Travis Stevens. A pretty cool opportunity for him. We'll see what he can do the rest of the season as he is a playoff contender. He will be competing for a championship here in the MPI Cup Series. It's just a matter of how this kind of goes for him. This is the replay with Bill Schoonover already down on the bottom side of the racetrack on the apron, spinning around, and just like that, the car comes around. Hendry as well. Ooh, Feltz that time definitely hit something.
My goodness. That was not the line to enter on. I'd imagine there's more to the story on the front stretch, because that was a very awkward entry if that was all driver.
Let's go back and find out. Do some investigative work here with Emerson Arden and the crew here at PitStop TV. He was racing around Parker Bland and Austin Shoemaker. Austin finally getting that opportunity for tires. And this is down the front stretch alongside with Parker Bland. I think just misses braking point. Maybe a little bit too much rear bias, potentially.
Yeah, it turned in earlier. You had the rear too much bias. I could have spun the car around with the rear, and yeah, Feltz found a Schoonover down the bottom. Peekaboo.
Maybe shouldn't laugh, but that one got me a little bit. Let's find Charles Feltz and see his on board with this. Right to the inside of Ryan Kendall. Just trying to lock it down, zigged when he should have zagged. And unfortunately enough, if he had stayed on the racetrack, he would not have been a part of that.
Yeah, that's a weird spot for a car to spin coming up the track and turn 2 with the hill. It's hard to predict. You know, Feltz, I think I would have probably done the same and tried to shoot to the bottom of it. But it just met that spot.
Let's go find somebody by the name of Ray Rogers and see how he's doing over there now with 45 Degree Racing, teammates with guys like Dakota Curtis and Brad Fulham. Still part of the Podium Esports kind of grouping of drivers here in the MPI Cup Series. But Emerson here is driver of the one, somebody that's been so fast in the last 100 laps or so.
Ray Rogers, if new number in the car, a new team, having a good run tonight. How are you feeling? How's the car doing?
Oh, it's great, man, especially on long runs. Just trying to be patient back here.
So you definitely do. We obviously saw you had the key to success on the long run. And I know you would still be playing for the long run at this point of the race. What do you have if this does become a little bit of a yellow show and you have to get going here on the short runs?
Oh, I have short run speed as well. I can do it if I need to, but we'll see. You know, if it's a long run, great. If it's a short run, you know, we'll still have something for them.
Absolutely. And then what has the transition been like to the one car and everybody with the new team?
Oh, it's great. You know, they're good guys. You know, we work together well, and that's what it's all about.
Right on, Ray. Well, you are restarting outside here, P6. Looking pretty stout so far, so best of luck to you the rest of the race, and hopefully we're talking to you a little later on.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
We'll get him back down there with his teammates, guys like Dakota Curtis, and working still with the guys at Podium Esports, Justin Hendry, Zach Wilson, and some others. I love what Travis Anderson said in the comments on YouTube. That was a minor crunch. And compared to the previous crash, yes, that was a minor crunch compared to the massive crunch, if you will, with Chris Progar and Logan Sturgeon. Glad that this is a sim and they didn't have to take an actual trip to the Infield Care Center. But lap 165 here will give us lap 166 on the restart. And that will be 85 laps to go at Richmond. Mario Miranda, the race leader. Warren Kyle Keith's second. Green flag is back out of the Geico restart zone. One lap complete. Mario Miranda flexing that muscle. I think he realized that, sure, Emerson, he's got a new contender, but he's still better.
Absolutely. And you got to think that, and you got to know that with the clean air that you're going to command a lot of this race, and you're going to have a lot to say in these battles. Ray Rogers, again, he restarted 6th. He's kept himself in 6th. Dana Michel there in 5th. A driver, again, who's needing a good run, could use a win to solidify that he's going to be a championship contender this season. No, he will be, but to solidify that he should be a true contender for the championship. And up there in 5th, trying to see what can happen here in the long run.
By the way, Logan Sturgeon is still in this race. He is 17th spot right now, battling here with Brandon Banks to the outside of him. I don't know how Logan's still racing. He did the one over. He barrel rolled in turns 1 and 2, and he is still racing, and that car is still competitive. Props to him, and I guess everybody at Burnt River Racing, because that is a fantastically built car, as Dakota Curtis bringing the fight to Chris Shoemaker and some others. Fighting ahead of Dustin Reeves finally.
Had to just check right there, make sure there were 0 fast repairs. That's crazy. Good on Logan Sturgeon, and able to repair just what he needed to keep it up on the lead lap and keep the pace up. Logan Sturgeon, could he do something magical? Oh, Justin Winters in a bad spot there.
Logan Sturgeon has gotten to the back of Winters. Wyatt Brackett, Parker Bland, and some others scatter. James Kunkel. Kunkel at the racetrack nearly gets into Sturgeon. There's Austin Reedy. I don't know why he's this far back, Emerson. Something is not... He must have gotten a pit penalty.
Well, remember, Reedy was falling down through the running order. Did he fall down this far back? Or?
No, definitely not. I mean, he's 20th right now. That must have been a pit penalty at some point. He's come back in, actually, so that's part of it, too.
So Reedy having to battle through the field. He's definitely capable of doing so. Just watching him throughout the day and racing him before. We'll see how long it takes him to get up there, if he is going to be able to do so with the ante being upped here in this third stage.
Miranda's still leading. Keith still second. Then Wilson, Peel, Michelle, your top 5. While these guys get rolling here in stage number 3, let's go PitStop TV side by side for one of the first times in a while. It's been a long time since we've done this here for the MPI Cup Series, but maybe a little bit of a green flag run. I'll knock on wood for safety here, but it's looking pretty good.
There is Max Papis in the Ferrari. As great a race as Ferrari has ever won.
The steering wheel for me has always been a sensitive spot. There's a whole experience there that we're all trying to refine. Max Pappas, he asked me one day, he says, what can I do with a wheel? I said, well, with the new
Fuller. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build. Got it. Yesterday. I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done. How's he do it? I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest. All the cars. That's how I do it.
Welcome back to the virtual Richmond Raceway. You didn't go very long, but you can see, well, you didn't really leave at all, as we kept you side by side here on PitStop TV, but you can see how this field is starting to wrap around the full 3/4 mile racetrack here, Emerson. There is not, well, there's about a half a track between Mario and Miranda at the back end of the field. This field's starting to spread out, but there are still gaggles around, as you saw with Alex Muscarella and Dakota Curtis. Here we go, less than 70 laps to go, and these guys are battling it out just outside the top 10.
Yeah, Muscarella trying to hang on here. This is just outside the top 10. The battle for 11th. Austin Shoemaker back here. Going to be a little aggressive as he wants to get up there. He wants to continue to improve upon his... Well, everybody wants to improve upon their position, but Shoemaker's got some additional motives in terms of trying to make the playoffs here. Shoemaker and Curtis still going at it hard into the corner. And Muscarella trying to get that power down. He'll clear up to that 11th position.
Curtis has to let the 48 go on by. Here comes Shoemaker to the inside of Dakota Curtis. And next time through, it will be 65 laps to go. Briefly, we saw Warren Kyle Keith put some pressure on for the race lead, but that has since spread out a little bit as, oh my goodness, they are getting close here for this spot. This is for the 12th position between these two. Here comes Austin Reedy as well.
It's tight, and remember, we were talking about Reedy being coming just inside the top 20. He's now worked his way nearly to the lead of this pack, which would be the 11th position. He's working to the inside of Curtis now. Austin Reedy is on it. Can he keep this pace up, though, to work his way back into the top 5?
Somebody I'm watching as well is Richard Swavely. He's had a really weird day today, up and down the running order a little bit, and is now starting to fall back, now behind Brandon Banks. Down to the 17th position. Justin Winter's going to come up on Dakota Curtis now. Reedy gets clear of the 23 and now is going to battle with Austin Shoemaker. Shoemaker comes off the wall. There's just a lot going on in this section of the racetrack as they work their way around this section of the field, I guess, if you will. But look at all those cars go by all at once. Wyatt Bracken's back here as well. Little Schoonover goes on by. And there goes the back end of the field, Charles Feltz. And here comes Mario Miranda, the race leader. It's not a big gap right now, and Miranda's starting to put some time on Warren Keith, a second now.
And I think he has to, right? If Warren Kyle Keith turns on the Jets later in the run, Miranda's got to have a little bit of a gap to defend against that.
Whoa, Warren, real loose at it too. I think Warren knows now he's in the top 5, and he's starting to race a little harder early in the run. It's starting to bake those tires a little bit. Zach Wilson able to hang with him. And we saw that, oh, and yeah, Warren just got the wall at turn 4. We saw the shade for a little bit, the track temp coming down a little bit as we work into the afternoon. Now 124 as Wilson comes up the racetrack and pushes the 8 way up the hill.
Absolutely muscled. Wilson powers his way back to second. And Wilson has not had what it takes. Oh, man, getting tight between Peel and Keith. Wilson, when really nobody's had what it's taken to get to Miranda. Everybody's just trying to put themselves in a position so that something happen.
Now, Mario won't lead every single lap today, but it's certainly going to be a large number, and percentage-wise, it's going to rival that of Zach Wilson if he's able to hang on here. I just don't know if anybody's shown anything to challenge. I mean, we thought maybe it was going to be Warren Kyle Keith. Earlier, we thought maybe it was going to be Zach Wilson, and clearly it looks like neither one of those two things are going to happen. I don't know what it is that he's got right now. And it's very similar to what Zach Wilson, I think, did in the spring. We just didn't know what he had compared to everybody else. It seems like the 99 has found it.
And you saw it there. Zach Wilson is trying. He was wheeling and dealing that baby off the turn 2. And he's opened up a gap to Warren Kyle Keith and co. But still, is it going to be enough to catch Miranda? I doubt it. Back here, this is Peel. He's got Michelle and Rogers behind, and he's got Keith in front. But Peel, again, is sat right here, 3rd, 4th, and 5th all day. And very respectable run for Peel. I know he's been on a 3-race win streak, but it's good to chill out a little bit, no?
Yeah, I think he can calm down a little bit. As here comes Sanchez, a big lunge to the inside of Rogers. Ray gives that spot up to him, and you can see the side-by-side behind these guys. Isaac Mock, Kip Easley. Here comes Austin Reedy into the battle. Side by side here, though, our car is 27 and 7. Kip Easley has really come alive right when he needs to. Last week, putting it inside the top 10, moving himself into decent contention in the playoffs. Well, actually, no, outside of the playoffs still. He has 4 points out. I think recently I said he was in. No, he's 4 points out coming into tonight. He needs everything he can get here. And actually, I know what it was. Before we knew that Zach Wilson was in the playoffs, we thought Kip Easley was going to be the one car. Whoa, come on. Not that time. Oh, my goodness. Kip Easley in the wall. Caution's out.
It's short track aggression.
I'm speechless more at the fact that I'm talking about him needing to get into the playoffs, having a good run inside the top 10, and then he gets turned. Apparently, I shouldn't talk about drivers. This is a tough one for Kip Easley here. We'll get the replay. We saw it happen live, obviously, but this will be another look at things. Isaac Mock behind him. Isaac just lunges into 3, gets down to the inside, and goes up the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't think, there was any intent to absolutely wall up easily out of there, but definitely was trying to keep that nose down to the inside, have that go up the inside of Easley, and made a little bit of contact, and Easley found himself in the wall.
That's the onboard from Kip Easley's perspective. It'll be a fantastic look at the contact there, the contact again, and he's in the wall.
This would be the final stop for most of these drivers tonight, Andrew. Bearing some weird length of a green flag run in the late yellow.
Easley comes into his stop, into his box. Mario Miranda in as well. And here these guys go off the pit lane.
Zach Wilson, he took control of the field here.
Zach Wilson beating Mario Miranda off the pit lane. Maybe, maybe not. No, this is going to give the spot back to Mario here. We saw that earlier, actually, with exactly these two drivers. When Lawson beat Miranda out of the pits, we saw that initially Zach Wilson beat the 99 out, but they swapped that back. Warren Kyle Keith third, Lawson Peel fourth, Daniel Michel fifth. Let's go back and look at the race off pit lane.
And there's two or maybe 3 lines down there. Gotta see, one's a speed line and one's a timing line. Oh my goodness!
I think Mario had both.
What's that yellow line?
That would be, I would imagine, the
commitment
exit version of the commitment line. Yeah. Let's watch this again. And this is going to be very, very close. You can see Mario's accelerating, pulling away, and right there. Yeah, Mario's at that final white line just before Zach Wilson. You can't get that any closer.
It's a photo finish up at exit.
So Miranda will hang on to the race lead, but that puts Warren Kyle Keith behind the 99 car. Let's go ahead and talk with the 8 car with Warren. He's been fantastic, Emerson. You've talked a lot. You've talked very highly of his success today. We'll bring you the driver of the number 8 Chevrolet.
And driver of the number 8, Warren Kyle Keith. Warren, you have been up and down through this field, and you had a miraculous drive through the field in stage number 2, putting yourself up here, up inside the top 5. How's that car feeling? How's the driver feeling?
The driver's feeling good. Car's been up and down all day. I mean, sometimes it's been tight. Sometimes, as you saw that last run, it's been just a little tail happy. So, we're going to try our best, starting back in the 30th or something position, top 3 would be great where we're at right now. But, I see those front 2 up there, and, that's a win that I'd like to have.
It's a win you'd like to have. We've seen you've had the long run pace. We saw you be aggressive there on the short run. Is there anything you have for the 99?
Yeah, probably not try to push it here on the short run, but I don't know how he's keeping it straight out of the corners like he is. It's hard to get up to him when he's just straight lining it out and no wiggles at all.
All right, well, Warren Kyle Keith's here, starting inside road 2. Best luck to your driver. Hopefully we're talking to you later.
Yes, sir.
Going to the restart real quick here, lap 201. You're going to give way to lap 202. And Miranda catches the inside line sleeping. Wilson went nowhere. Warren Keith in the back end of the 51. And Warren goes from 3rd to 5th real quick. Wilson slots into 2nd. Not Austin Reedy. Lawson Peel there on the outside. And the 7-car problems. There it is, our big track blocker.
One goes around and more,
he gets
and
more.
now I think we avoided a blockage down in 4.
I think you're right, Emerson. Man, that could have been so much worse. And big problems here for Chris Shoemaker. I think he might be done. We'll see that right front here in a
this
second.
is
I'm
huge.
concerned.
That doesn't look.
Well, might be okay.
We don't need those fenders. We just need those toe links intact.
It can be modified. That's okay. It just needs to finish this race, especially when you're in the situation that Chris is in. This was the restart. I'll come down the backstretch here in a moment. And everything goes awry. Car 7. Watch that Toyota Camry. A white nose, a black rear end. Chris Shoemaker maybe gets into him here. Yeah, Chris punts him. Oh, comes back into Ray Rogers. Alex Pasquale there stuffs the one of the fence. Isaac comes back down into Brandon Banks and then hooks the 48. And then Justin Winters goes off of the 3-car. A lot just happened.
And we're getting to that point, Andrew. I think restarts are going to be really key. And I know we saw the inside lane get caught out there on that restart. But these drivers are starting to get more and more aggressive. The lap count's going down. Shoemaker got to the back of Mock there and then gets clipped. Just wow. Oh, is that Muscarella that went around?
Briefly,
and he
yes.
saved it.
Yeah. Well, it's crunch time, figuratively and literally. It's crunch time as far as these guys need spots. It's crunch time as far as we're starting to see cautions breed cautions. Let's talk, though, with last race winner, I guess, here from Richmond Raceway, Zach Wilson. 324 laps, Emerson. We're talking about Martin Truex Jr. Coke 600 stuff, leading 324 out of 404 laps in the spring. Zach Wilson, you've been fast today, but you are not putting up that number that we saw or even anything close to it from the spring. What's going on for Car 51 today?
Yeah, it's a lot hotter track temp this time, so it's tire conversations a whole lot harder. So it's going to be interesting here, these final 46 laps. We're going to have 45 once we go green here, I believe, or maybe a little less. Keeping pace with Mario here, he's not had any pressure. When I pressured him there at the beginning of stage 1, you know, he was making a couple of mistakes, and I felt like I was faster and could get around him, but just kind of biding my time and seeing. There's a lot of good drivers up here right now. It's just going to be limiting those mistakes, not locking up the tires, and saving those rears for the end.
You mentioned the other good drivers up here with you guys. We've seen Warren Kyle Keith drive up to you. Joe Sanchez is back in the party. Ray Rogers has been great. How do you navigate learning what those guys are going to be like, fewer laps around them, and trying to pass Mario? And how do you even pass Mario in the first place?
Yeah, we're going to focus out the windshield, not in the mirror, because what matters is in front of me, not behind me. So we're hopefully going to get this 99 out of our way and get some smooth sailing.
Do you think you'll have to resort to the chrome horn?
Hey, whatever works. Short track racing, baby.
I love that answer, Zach. Best of luck here, buddy. Go ahead and back up that win and get a second win. That would do a whole lot to your playoff seeding, by the way. So I don't know if you think about that yet, but that would be huge.
Oh, absolutely. So hopefully we can get a good finish for you guys here.
Best of luck, Zach. He'll restart in the 7th position. It's not 7th position. Started 7th. He'll restart in the 2nd position. There we go. As he's to the inside of Mario Miranda. Lawson Field behind him. Joe Sanchez up to the outside. Daniel Michello in the conversation. Austin Reedy in the top 5. Warren Keith back down to the 8th spot now, Emerson. That is huge. Actually, I think they're out of line. They're going to try and adjust that real quick as we get ready for a restart. Miranda out front. Zach Wilson 2nd. Green flag early again. And once again, Wilson caught sleeping. But we are racing again at Richmond. 1 lap complete. Zach Wilson. Oh, 1 car in the grass. Swavely.
Oh,
The
man.
32.
Great job not to hit anything, but did take a wild ride through the grass, and I lost a lot of time.
Wilson hanging on here, but he's a little ways back. Couple of car lengths, it looks like, as they exit turn 4. Your top 5 starting to spread out. Here comes Reedy on Warren, Kyle Keith. Ray Rogers to the inside of Austin Shoemaker. This is for 8th spot between the 14 and the 1.
Absolutely. And again, all of these guys, they've been up here inside the top 10 all day, laps winding down, trying to improve upon their positions, trying to see what there is up for grabs and how they can get to the end in one piece. 40 laps to go.
See the entire field go on by the flag stand here. This battle, though, still ripe between cars 14 and 1. Rogers on the inside trying to power on by. He's been so good on the long run now. A little bit of damage to the nose of that Toyota Camry. And here he goes. Passes Austin Shoemaker finally. Austin going to slide into 9th. We got the pleasure of talking with him earlier today. And now Muscarella going to take a look at the back end of the 14 car.
Muscarella was almost facing the wrong way in the most recent caution. He's up inside the top 10. 9th is out in front of the windshield. And very plausible for him to keep working his way up inside the top 10. Shoemaker fighting for every point he can. And around goes 1 car off of turn 4. That's Michel. He saves it down in the grass. But another loss in time.
Oh, technically, yeah, we'll count that as a save. No caution. Back on the racetrack. There goes Hendry barely by. And Michel suddenly is 27th.
Wow. Michel, he had a good run all day, up inside the top 10 all day. That's just how quickly things can change. And he won't even get a chance to regroup. There's no yellow.
Wyatt Brackett to the fence briefly. This just outside the top 10. Isaac Mock is 11th. Dakota Curtis is 10th in that black, white, and red number 23 car. Brackett is 12th. Brandon Banks is, now 14th, as here comes Logan Sturgeon to the inside for 13th spot. This guy is flipped. He's been in another crash after that, and he is still ripping to the top 15 as Brackett goes 3 wide just ahead. A big send there from the 10 car, but Logan Sturgeon has been up and over and barrel rolled in turn 2 and is still here battling.
Right. The chances of that very slim. For some of the barrel roll and half the day he's had and still be competitive. Chance that the top 10 is not out of this thing. Backing up a little bit here behind Brandon Banks. We can get down to the inside yellow on the speedway.
Caution for Daniel Michel and Parker Bland. Sean Kalis, Jansen rather, as well. Here's Michel, there's Bland, spinning it back around. Big problems for these guys. See the 25 go on by. The 0-1 with him, and we've talked so much this season, at least in the last 8 weeks or so, about Parker Bland and needing more and more points, needing to have some good runs, and he's had a couple, but it's not been nearly enough. A couple of top 10s ain't going to do it. A couple of top 15s certainly won't either. This time gets tagged by Daniel Michel, comes back up, and just gets hooked right around.
One of the bigger wrecks of the day. 3, 4, 5 cars there. Big incident.
Nothing's going to top Progrart and Sturgeon, but yeah, this is a heavy hit. Here's a look at it. Oh. Felt's involved as well. He goes spinning to the inside, might even hit the wall.
I was talking more in terms of quantity, but you're right. Nothing compared to the flips earlier. But it's crazy just how quickly things can change if you're someone like Daniel Michel. And who's Parker Bland. I don't know if he knew that there was going to be 2 cars to his outside.
Phelps does tag the inside wall, but the problem for... Well, Parker gets hit, by the way. I think he's just trying to regather the car. I definitely don't think that was in any way intentional for him to come back up the racetrack like that.
Oh, you're right. I did see the car out of shape there.
Yeah, he gets hit pretty awkwardly by Daniel Michel out of turn 4, and that kicks all of this off. And we've seen it actually the last couple of weeks in the North American Racing League that actually just wrapped up this past Thursday, where a driver just kind of got impatient, got back into the throttle or whatever when there's still a car ahead. And this is very similar to that. I think Michel realizing where he is in the field and that he needs a lot of these spots back. Was he 27th after his issue? he needs to fight back to the field. He's only got 35 laps to do it at this point when the caution happens. So he's got to get aggressive, and at that point, he's just back in the throttle, doing his thing. Parker was a little slower back to the gas, and he runs in the back of the 01 car, turns him around. See, he's on him, he's on him, he's on him. He turns him there, and we have a crash.
Yeah, I knew, Michel obviously thought he was faster, was trying to get the spots he can. DL1 just wasn't getting up off the corner. You can't go faster just going through him.
We'll have 30 laps to go or so when we go back green flag racing. In fact, we're at 31 as pace car lights stay on here at Richmond Raceway. Mario Miranda leading, Zach Wilson second, then Austin Reedy, Alex Muscarella, Wyatt Brackett now. Your top 5, a lot of takers under this yellow Emerson. Lawson Peel, one of them in car 53, Joe Sanchez as well. We know they've got the tires stacked up in the pit lane. That's not a concern. Kevin Hurley is maybe the only car that, I don't think anybody has taken the full extent of their tires. Do we see, potentially, if Miranda comes in, say Miranda's still up front, even if he gets past here later on, if these tires work, do we see them come back in? Guys like Miranda, Wilson, Reedy, that are staying on the racetrack here.
If we get a 5-lap run here and guys on tires fly to the lead, and the caution comes out in about 5 or 6 laps, I think they come in.
It's kind of interesting that you're not pitting with 30 to go. This feels like the money stop. As much as we've seen these guys stay on the same tires, they stay out. This feels like the money stop. I'm surprised.
Yeah, you're right. Again, the strategy's kind of all coming together here, and you're kind of making your bet. I wouldn't want to go track position at this point. Honestly, even if I'm getting passed by the fresh tires, I think it'd be worse to end up at the back of the pack with the intensity rising.
We'll see what these guys do down to the restart zone. A beautiful view here from the drone. Miranda the leader, Wilson second. Green flag is out. They fire away. James Kunkel, Travis Stevens, some others staying out. Lawson Peel, he fights now, maybe to the middle, looking for a gap here between Stevens and easily gets into Stevens a little bit. That's impatience, nearly turned by his teammate, nearly 4 wide out of the 4th corner. They complete the first lap from the restart, though, and the intensity is at 10.
We are all packed up here. There's a modicum of room to spare for all these drivers in this pack. And around
Rogers.
Sideways was Rogers, and another one of those drivers on inside the top 10. He's going to fall back.
Side, but 3 wide. Ooh. Muscarella and Reedy contacted a 4 Wyatt Brackett on the inside. This is 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Now 3rd and 4th as Brackett pulls back a little bit. Lawson Peel right behind him. Lawson already into the 6th spot. He is a-coming.
Absolutely. And again, Muscarella, he just got cleared up through that, that 3 wide. He's got to take advantage of this now in the relative clean air. He's got to absolutely be on it, trying to see what he can do to give himself a gap to those fresh tires.
Muscarella, Reedy, Brackett, Peel, Sanchez. Right in the middle of the top 10. Joe Sanchez looking at all of this, wondering how he can get through. Following his teammate in Lawson Peel, 7 wins in the season for Peel. Just a pair of wins for the 55-0. Brackett in the wall a little bit. Bobbles at a turn 4. We've seen that a lot today. The 10 has been really volatile on quarter exit. James Kunkel now going to try and take advantage. 3 wide there. They're all trying to go for spots. Reedy in the bottom. Muscarella there. Peel trying to find a way through the middle. This is one heck of a roadblock.
You're right. Peel is not getting his opportunity to let those fresh tires sing, and he's given the chance is being given to Miranda and Wilson to drive away, build himself a gap. Peel's got to get a little aggressive here if he doesn't want to let these tires go to waste. He'll get to the outside of Reedy. He's going to dart to the inside of Muscarella.
Beautiful move there from Lawson. If he completes this pass, well, when he completes this pass, I should say, this will be for 3rd. And there it is.
I was going to say, Muscarella drives it deep to maybe try to defend, but there's no use. Joe Sanchez wants a piece of the pie there for 4th. Zach Wilson, this is about as close as he's been to Mario Miranda all day. Is there anything here for the 51?
I think if Zach Wilson wanted to win this race, he had to pit. I really think that's one of those classic scenarios where whatever the leader does, you do the opposite. And we didn't see that. We saw several drivers stay out hoping for something. And I get it for guys that were further back, but I think Zach Wilson would have been sitting on a fresh set of Goodyear Eagles, first of all, and a much better chance to win this race if he had pitted. You can see lots of wheels behind him now, and obviously hindsight's 2020. It's tough to predict what's going to happen. But as we have a caution,
a
it's
wreck
going to
in the
change
front
things
straightaway. Big wreck. Well, a couple cars involved. I thought it was going to be bigger car coming back up into traffic.
Dakota Curtis, I see, is one car slow. And yeah, he's done. Oh my goodness. This is somebody who cannot afford this. He's just in right now by 60 points. And while, yeah, that's 60 points, if you start to lose 20 here, 10 there, 30 another week, that's suddenly 60. This could add up.
And with unknowns, with Watkins Glen and Daytona coming up, you do not want to be in a compromised position.
Go back and see what happens to him here. A really good day got a lot worse very suddenly for the 23.
There's a lot going on here, and I'm glad we backed it all the way up here because the story starts down here in 3 and 4.
Out of the fourth corner, one car loose. That's Austin Shoemaker. Curtis tries to miss it, gets hit, and through the grass, that car just comes back up the racetrack right in front of a bunch. Ross Harlow misses it, but Richard Swavely T-bones the 23. Harlow, by the way, now 2 laps down.
You know, I wrote off Harlow being 6 laps down. A little bit more chaos. It's not impossible, right?
Here's the view from the drone. You can see, Justin Winters tags the 14. They all stack up. Hurley gets a boot from the 16, which saves him, I think, as Curtis comes up the racetrack. Swavely nowhere to go.
I was watching this entire incident unfold, and I was going ooh and ah. I didn't know if Shoemaker was going to make it through, and all of a sudden I see Curtis coming back up into traffic. I'm like, that is not a good look.
Let's watch this from Swavely's perspective. I think he's going to give a race-saving boot to the 5 car as well. You see Curtis on the inside comes back up, and yeah, Swavely slow to the brakes, but Ross Harlow has got to be thanking him for that one.
Yeah, Ross Harlow got bailed out.
We will have under 20 laps to go, and your front runner, Mario Miranda, stays out. Wilson pits, but that's 10 laps too late, I feel like, and not enough takers. Wilson's now 17th position. He's got to be kicking himself. He's got to be. He could be second on good tires. Instead, he's 17th on good tires. And there's a lot of pretty okay tires right in front of him.
Yes, it's going to be tough. Nobody, I think, is going to be coming in now after this point unless it's for damage repairs. There's not enough laps. There's too many cars on the lead lap.
Do you want to ask Mario how he feels about this?
Sure. Let's figure it out now.
Mario Miranda, old tires, 35-lap old tires, 20 laps older than the guys right behind you. You saw them power through to third. I can't imagine it's a good feeling right now for car 99.
No, it's terrible. I'm usually the one trying to make up the track position on new tires, but I've had the fastest car all day, and all I can hope is that they use their tires trying to get up here. Right now, we're on equal sets. No, it's not. I'm not in a great situation at all. But if Peel can win like he did last week with older tires, I feel like I can do the same.
You've led all but 8 laps today, 226 now with 234 complete. You're clearly clearing these guys on restarts. You're pulling on them quite a bit. Is there a trick to it? I mean, obviously you restart on the outside. That's always a good help.
Yeah, outside has the better grip, and I might pinch Lawson here on the bottom, get him really low to the apron, try to get those tires to spin. You just got to go random every time. You can't have a pattern that people notice, so.
Well, best of luck to you, Mario. Hang on for dear life. You've got a bunch of hungry dogs right behind you. Best of luck on this restart.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I think Lawson Peel is going to go by the 99, I'll be honest. Now that Mario's out of the channel, this is not a good look for the 99, but we'll see what happens. 15 laps to go at the drop of the green. Green flag is back out. And here comes the field on the 99. This is going to be interesting. Into turn 3, Lawson Peel closing in on the 99. Can Lawson go for 8 race wins, 4 in a row here in the MPI Cup Series, potentially?
He's going to be in the position of leverage here. He's got a lot of options and a bit of time. Can try to dive bomb it. He can try to use the bumper. He could just sit there and try to pressure Miranda into a mistake. But Miranda's got this in his back pocket, the yellow flags.
Oh, Austin Shoemaker is junked. The 14 car is destroyed. Another one bites the dust as far as drivers trying to keep in the playoffs or make it into the playoffs. This is going to be a huge, huge issue for the 14 car if he wants to fight for a championship.
Yeah, he's kind of been in trouble the past 10 laps or so.
Yeah, he came down on Justin Winters, it sounds like. Gets into Kunkel there, gets hit by Knighton. Muscarella barely on the brakes enough to miss that. You can see it all unfold. And somehow, Emerson, this is light compared to what we saw in the spring. This has been a pretty green flag race.
Sure. Yeah, we had a lot of green flag run today.
Oh, Kunkel got the wall there at a 4. They all got jostled around. That explains why Michelle was so low.
Into the corner.
And I think Austin came up a little bit. I think he missed his mark.
Yeah. I was going to say, the Cup race today, drivers were in that extreme high line. I don't think anybody's attempting that tonight. So that was Austin kind of going up into Kunkel's lane.
And that just saved Mario's chances here. It's still not a great look for him with Lawson Peel right behind him. Joe Sanchez, Wyatt Brackett breathing down his neck. But suddenly his task just got a lot easier as far as holding these guys off for fewer laps. It's still not easy by any means, Emerson. We're still going to have the better part of 10 to go, but it's significantly easier, fewer laps that he's got to hang on for. And even if he gets past, now fewer laps that he has to hang on for and fewer positions he likely loses.
Definitely. And then that's what I was saying. The one thing Mario Miranda has is that there's still this many cars in the lead lap. The importance of this race to a lot of drivers. He's got the opportunity for some yellows to back him up here.
Somebody in a weird position right now, Emerson. He's not doing very good in the points, but maybe in an opportunity to grab a win today. Isaac Mackey's 6th currently, inside of 10 to go once we go back green flag racing. He's in that burnt rubber fold with Mario Miranda, Logan Sturgeon, Casey Knighton. Well, let's go ahead and talk to driver 7. Isaac, you're in a weird spot here. 6th place, a good opportunity for points, but what you need is a win. What do you try to do on this last restart, potentially last restart?
Oh, man, just try to pick the right lane in these corners and try to keep the momentum as high as we can. I mean, top 5 is a great day for us, but it doesn't lock us in, you know.
Now, how do you pass these guys? You just wait on them to hopefully short track race themselves out of it or try and go through, or are you going to try and put the bumper to some of these guys?
Anything that works, man. Anything that works.
Every driver I've asked about short track racing so far today has been open to it. I love that. So how do you, I guess, get the benefit of this restart? Thankfully, Mario being the leader is going to help the outside line, it looks like, but how do you try and use that to your advantage?
Well, just try to get as much momentum as soon as we can. It's all momentum based. If you have one slip up, then you're going to lose 2 or 3 spots. But on the other hand, if you can just beat that guy by just a couple milliseconds, and you can gain 2 or 3 spots. It's just a weird spot to be in most of the time.
Well, Wyatt, it's been a fantastic day for you. Well, I say fantastic day. It's been an up and down day for you, but fantastic looking right now in the top 5. Best of luck, or 6. We'll say top 6. Best of luck on this restart. Go get them, Tiger.
Thank you so much.
I'm excited to see what Isaac can do on this one. The onboard view is, again, an interesting one. It's a weird spot. He's got 5 cars technically ahead of him, 2 on the top side, 3 on the bottom. I don't know, Emerson. This is going to be an interesting one. This is potentially the most important restart of the regular season. There's so much at stake for Mario to maybe even out with Lawson Peel if he can win out the rest of the regular season, or does he give this one up? Restart away. Lawson burns the tires a little bit. We're back racing, 8 to go. Through turns 3 and 4, there's suddenly a battle for the race lead. Lawson Peel with better tires. Mario Miranda trying to hang on.
And there was near chaos in the back. There's a wreck.
It's
on
a
the front
maybe
stretch.
caution.
Oh, I was watching everything unfold. They were wrecking for about the entire front stretch. I know Miranda is just hanging on and waiting for the word yellow in his ear. And Peel was all over him, though.
Once again, his task just got significantly easier. James Kunkel around on the front stretch. Let's see what happens to him. It's going to be a multi-car incident, as it has been all day. Side by side, actually, well, 3 wide with Michel and Hurley to his outside. Michel sideways, and the day continues to unravel for the 25. And the 48, and the 42. Wow!
Man, oh
okay.
man.
Gonna get a few more looks at this one, it looks like. Wow. I did not expect this big of an incident here this late in the race. Foolish me. Here we go.
They were all packed up here, and I saw that. I'm like, oh, it's fine. And then when I saw more cars get clipped, I'm like, this is not...
It could have been worse. It could have been a lot worse.
Andrew, we still have the chance to your track blockage.
Oh, man. That could have been a lot worse for guys like Muscarella and several others. Those were relatively light dings for most of them. As it's currently 5 laps to go, Emerson. Let's see here. We're probably going to have 2 to go when we go green, based on the laps we've taken out of cautions so far tonight. Maybe 3, so either 3 to go or a natural green-white checkered, which really opens the door to a potential for effectively green-white checkers. What do you expect here?
Well, it depends. If it's 2 laps, I think Miranda has a chance to hold off Peel. If it's 3 laps, I think Peel beats him. I think it's as simple as that. We saw Peel was about to honestly pass him on that second lap, but I think Miranda will be uber aggressive if it was, on the white flag. Same with Peel, but it's gonna be a show. That is what I do know for sure.
Another driver in kind of a weird spot, just like Isaac Mock, is Justin Winters. He's in the 7th spot for this restart, and Emerson, he is praying for the seas to part for him on this restart. Like I said, coming to the restart, 7th place. Let's get a word with him here. Justin Winters, car 88. You've been fast at points this season, but this is kind of a revival for you. You were good here in the spring and better today, potentially 7th place right now. How do you attack on this restart?
I'm not sure yet. It looks like Lawson has something for Mario, so it might get dicey up front, so we'll have to see what happens.
And of course, anything can happen here. It looks like it might be a natural green-white checkered for you guys. How do you attack? I mean, this is going to be tough.
Yeah, I'm just going to be as aggressive and as clean as I can be and see what happens.
It actually looks like we might only have 1 to go when we actually go back green flag racing. Is there going to be some chrome horn? You got some chrome decals at least on the hood and the side of this car. Is that going to help you out?
I sure hope so, guys.
All right, best of luck to you, Justin. We'll let you get back to it and focus up. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
Justin's in the 7th spot. And Emerson, this is developing. It looks like we're either going to force a green-white checkered, or we're only going to have 1 to go. Yep. Okay, we just forced the green. That's what I thought would happen. We're going to force the first green-white checkered here. It looks like doubling up now. 3 attempts.
Another significant play in the Miranda's favor, but it's just in his favor. It is by no means over.
If he can survive 1 lap and we get a crash, well, actually, if he can survive 1 lap, the restart is official. In his position, do you want another crash here? Do you want another attempt to game these guys? I mean, what are you thinking?
Well, I guess it depends on this restart. If this is really tight and he gets a yellow and stays out in front, then he wants to use all the green-white checkers up.
Coming to the green flag, you can see it in the starter's hands. 2 laps to go, green-white checkered, MPI overtime at Richmond. Straight down to the bottom, contact there. Unwavering for the 99. The 53 got to him.
Yeah, Miranda had that wide arc into the corner. I don't know if he intended for Peel to be down there, but they came together. Everybody keeps it straight. Still there. White flag.
White flag presented by Whiplash Sim Cams. Lawson Peel sideways in the front stretch, battling with Wyatt Brackett. I don't think anybody's going to get to the 99. And certainly no, it's just not going to happen. Mario Miranda is going to walk through turns 3 and 4 at Richmond and grab himself a race win today when he needs it most to try and fight for that number 1 seed. Checkered flag for the 99.
We got to junk him up in 1, and what a job from Miranda all day today. I honestly think this is probably the obviously the deserving winner if we look at the day. How many laps did he not lead? 8?
8. That's even better. That's an even better percentage than Zach Wilson here in the spring.
Oh, by a mile.
I didn't think it could be done. Fantastic day for him. I mean, this is just fantastic. Literally about as good as you can get. 8 laps away from leading every single lap of the day. The only time he didn't lead were by virtue of pit stops for the stage breaks.
Yeah, people staying out to get laps led or, try to play strategies into their favor, but Mario was right there to pounce even when he got behind the 8 ball. I mean, whoa, he was as low as, 3rd today? Like, unreal.
As low as 4th.
4th.
And I think the big man of the 99 might be back.
Again, it's around playoff time, Andrew. Good time to come back.
That it is. I mean, this is really, really big for him. I will say, Ross Harlow doing a burnout on the inside, he got back to 26. That's got to feel like a win. I respect the burnout for the 5 car. But Mario Miranda, this is a huge statement win. And I asked him about it earlier. The opportunity to go up there and potentially win today and try and even up with Lawson Peel. That's, I think, pretty important to these guys, obviously, for the number 1 seed and just for pride. Mario definitely wanted to get this win today just to have that opportunity. Now with 2 races to go in the regular season, he's got it. Let's go ahead and bring in driver of the 99. I mean, this is, again, one of the biggest statement wins you could ask for. Mario, congratulations. You just won at Richmond.
Yes, dude. Oh, man. Oh, I need a break, a breather. It was hairy. I knew Peel would get the bumper to me, and I honestly just really needed this win. It's been a rough 4 weeks racing wise in real life and in sim standards, but finally back to it, and I finally won at Richmond. It's been a long time coming.
Yet short tracks don't usually feel like your thing here in the MPI Cup Series, but today you were on it, leading all but 8 laps. That's better than Zach's stats from, April. Suddenly, this big man of the 99 is back. Burner Productions back on top. How do you continue this to Watkins Glen? We're talking about that top seed. You don't need to win to get into the playoffs. You need to win to get back into first. How do you do so next week?
Watkins Glen is it has to be my favorite road course, especially in these cars, and I've proved multiple times that I hate to say this, but I am number 1 when it comes to road courses in the series, and I have that standard every weekend I go to a road course. So, road course racing also helps, or this win at short tracks helps a lot with the road course. It's a lot of braking, a lot of throttle management, and carrying that experience into next week freshly off my mind is really going to help.
And as you look to back up a really solid win, 8 wins last season, how do you go? I mean, how do you maintain, I guess, the mentality to fight for a championship? There's still so much time between now and Phoenix, and there's so much to happen. You've got to get through the rounds. You're looking like you're well set up, obviously, but how do you keep that mentality and keep focus for Phoenix?
I just have so many people supporting me coming into the weekend and coming out of the weekend, teammates, sponsors, partnerships, just and family and friends. And I have so much weight on my shoulders. I have so many people to prove wrong, and it just carrying that momentum, the confidence you get from a win. Each win you get, the confidence goes bigger and bigger, and it feels like the only goal you have coming into a weekend is to win. That a second place won't be satisfying no matter what. That a win is what you need.
Fair enough. Car 99 goes back to victory lane here in the MPI Cup Series. Congratulations, Mario. Best of luck to you next week. Got to go up there and match Lawson Spiel's win number.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
It's going to be a tough one. I think the two best road course racers in this field are the 99 and 53 Emerson. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch those guys duke it out for the top seed of the playoffs. Crazy to think we're watching that battle almost as much as the cutoff line. But let's go ahead and go through our race results this evening. Your top 10 looking a bit like this, with Mario Miranda out front by just under a half second on a 2-lap run over Lawson Peel, Wyatt Brackett, Joe Sanchez, and Warren Keith. Just about ties Isaac Mock across the line to make it into the top 5. Fantastic run for both of them. Justin Winters hangs out at 7th, Brandon Banks 8th, Austin Reedy 9th, and Chris Shoemaker gets a very much needed top 10 when we thought he was out of it.
11th place, we got Garrett Brown, one of those cut line drivers. Zach Wilson makes it back to 12th. Nowhere near representative of the day he had. Ray Rogers, 13th, also another one of those drivers who was top 10 all day. 13th doesn't do it. Dustin Reeves finishes 14th. Travis Stevens, 15th. Bill Schoonover had his troubles today. He'll come home 16th. Alex Muscarella, another one of those drivers, got an up and down day, and it'll end up in the 17th position. James Kunkel, 18th. Judd Danielson, 19th. And Kevin Hurley rounds out the top 20.
21st place finishing position goes to Casey Knighton in the 84 car. A lot of trouble for him today. Parker Bland never matched that of practice. Finishes 22nd. Kip Easley will go 23rd tonight. Logan Sturgeon, your first car, 1 lap down. Sean Kalis, Ross Harlow there with him, 1 lap down. I mean, props to Ross Harlow. Hearing that it was a PC failure and that he is none too pleased with it. Pretty impressive for him to get back to 26th and on, well, the next to lead lap, 1 lap down. That's fantastic. And you know what? He completed 250 laps. I know we went 251, but he completed all 250 laps that we were scheduled for. Given the circumstances, that is huge for Ross. Hopefully things turn around and he can get a race win before the end of this regular season and make it into the playoffs. That would be one heck of a story. And also Kip Easley, 23rd. That's unfortunately huge for him. That's going to tear him, I think. I say it's going to tear him out of this battle, but other guys had pretty rough days too. I don't think we've said Austin Shoemaker's name yet. I could be mistaken. Looking back through the results, the 14 is going to finish 31st. That is a huge driver to drop, and we'll talk more about those guys in a moment, but you can see the rest of the top 30 here. Ross Harlow, 26th, Charles Phelps, 27th, Justin Hendry, 28th, and Daniel Michel and Ryan Kendall wrapping up your top 30.
31st, Austin Shoemaker again. Austin had a good run going there in the third stage and does not end up in the position he wanted, being out of this race. 13 laps down. Dakota Curtis comes from 32nd, quite a long ways. 21 laps down. Richard Swavely involved in that same incident with Dakota. It'll be 33rd, and 22 laps down. Dakota Curtis in 34th. Chris Progar went up and over today. He'll come home 35th. Justin Irv, 36th. Joseph Mahar, 37th. Jesse Whittington comes on 38th, and Brad Fulham, the first retiree of the night, in 39th. 226 laps off the pace.
And we didn't talk much about it, Emerson, but coming into today, only 13 points above the cut line, Joseph Mahar finishing 37th. He's going to be out of the playoffs, at least as of the end of this race. He's going to be in the red, I think, almost certainly. That is going to be huge as well, and that's going to allow somebody like Kip Easley maybe to get back in. When you look at really Joseph Mahar and Austin Shoemaker are probably both going to drop out. Shoemaker being 31st here on this screen, Mahar being 37th. That means Garrett Brown finishing 11th. Kip Easley finishing, where was it again? Easley went 23rd. He might actually be able to get ahead of one of these two guys. I think Shoemaker more realistically. And Chris Shoemaker finishing 10th may well be right back in one of the best positions he's seen all season long. This is a really bizarre way that things are working out. And you know what? Travis Stevens is not out of this. He can still point his way in. He finished 15th today. So props to the Montana Max Barbecue number 2 car. He's putting himself in a good position to potentially point his way in. He needs a little more next week at Watkins Glen. I don't know if that's going to come for him, but Daytona is still on the board for him. He's keeping himself just above water. Watch the 2 car. He could sneak his way into those playoffs for the MPI Cup Series. There's still so much to happen. We're going to go to a quick post-race break and be right back here in just a few moments from the Richmond Raceway. A lot's gone on today. We have a lot to talk about. We'll be right back in just a few. Don't go anywhere. More post-race coverage on the way.
Hi everyone, I'm Max Papis, founder of MPI. Let me introduce you to a line that we developed in MPI that is really dear to me. The MPI SimMax. Obviously, SimMax, the guy here. The reason of birth of SimMax is the fact that nowadays I believe that sim racing and virtual racing is exactly the platform to start. I consider sim racing and virtual racing very similar to the experience I had in go-kart when I started in my racing. And let me introduce you to our line of authentic steering wheel created specifically for the sim community.
Fuller. Yeah. Needed F-150 for Smith build.
Got it.
Yesterday.
I know.
Don't forget my BMW.
Gotcha. Check this out. All the major online automotive sites in one place. BMW, done. F-150, done.
How's he do it?
I can search nationwide. Even those classified sites. Auto Tempest, all the cars, one search. That's how I do it.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Welcome back to the virtual Richmond Raceway. Mario Miranda wraps up a 5th win on the season, breaking a 3-win streak for Lawson Beal. I think that's a pretty big momentous occasion, changing momentum certainly from Drinking Bros Racing back over to Burnt Rubber Racing. We'll see if that carries. I think it's Burnt Rubber Motorsports potentially. Anyways, big stuff going on as far as that goes, and a lot going on behind these guys for playoff positions. That means there's a lot to talk about, Emerson, as we break into our post-race coverage. Let's kick things off. We'll bring in Lawson Beal and talk to the 7-time winner this season in Car 53. Emerson, here he is.
And Lawson Peel comes home in second, a hard-charging Lawson Peel, be it there on the final restarts. I know there was contact there going into one on the last restart. Well, what more could you have done to top the 99?
Yeah, I really wasn't trying to hit him right there. I was just trying to protect the outside, try to get clear off of 2, but I just needed one of those last 2 or 3 cautions to not happen, and that was all I needed. I just needed at least like maybe 4 laps to work on it. But I knew that once we had those 2 or 3 cautions and it was setting up for green white checkered, that I would have to put the bumper to him. So I think we all kind of log jam going into 1, and then I tried to run 4th gear through 3 and 4 and get a good exit coming to the white, and I spun my tires real bad, and after that it was no way I was getting back to him. But it was the right call to pit though.
Certainly, we saw drivers like Zach Wilson, I think, regrettably come in and pit the next caution, trying to at least cover off some of the damage being done by people on fresh tires. How confident were you that you were going to get to a position where you can contend for the win when you made that setup?
After we pit and we, kind of worked our way through the traffic pretty well, Joe Sanchez and I thought we had a pretty good shot. If it would have gone green, we would have had it. If it would have gone green after that next caution, we would have had it also. I definitely did not have anything for him or Zach. They were, I just couldn't compete with them. So I knew I wanted to kind of roll the dice and use those tires there because we had 2 sets just sitting there. And if it would have been a caution fest and, we would have not had an opportunity to work our way back through the field, that would have not worked out for us. So, thankfully we were able to recoup our track position and get in a position to have a chance there. Just needed a few more green flag laps there at the end.
And it's not a 4th win in a row, but over the past 4 weeks, an average finish of 1.25, heading into a roadie at Watkins Glen. How are you feeling about your chances?
Yeah, pretty good. I don't know what to say about these last few. They've just been going really, really well. So I thought I might have a shot to steal one there. But, can't be disappointed. Feeling good about Watkins Glen. Just have to kind of see where everybody stacks up. Obviously, Mario's going to be pretty competitive. Don't really know how I'm going to stack up to him at Watkins Glen. It's been a while since I've raced him there. I think probably at Coda in Road America I was a little faster. But, Sonoma, the Roval, Watkins Glen, he may be a little better than me there. But we'll see. I might be able to hang with him. So I'm sure there's going to be some other contenders too. So just have to put some practice in and try to find a rhythm. There's so much speed and rhythm at road courses. So, but I'm looking forward to it. I think we should have a good race.
Well, there you go. Second place finisher, Lawson Peel. Looking to see about win number 8 maybe next week at Watkins Glen. Best luck to you, Lawson Peel, and hopefully we'll talk to you then.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
We'll move right down the line to somebody that I think is still around. I have to search for him just a little bit. Yes, Wyatt Brackett. I knew he didn't get the call to the transfer room. We'll grab Wyatt, who finishes third tonight. And Wyatt, it's kind of a comeback third place for you. As low as 30th tonight, what happened for you out there?
I thought this pit road speed was 50, and I just hammered down after that first pit stop and got a speeding penalty, so it sent me to the back. And so right after that, I just went as hard as I could, drove up to the top 10 again at the stage, and we were going to pit, wasn't paying attention, talking, and missed the pit road. So I went back again. So we just kind of rode it out and just ended where we ended.
Now, I know you're locked into the playoffs right now, but how frustrating is that as a driver with an opportunity ahead of you? You were so fast tonight to mess up twice and just have to fight back, knowing that you kind of cost yourself those 2 times and you're just trying to get back into contention.
Yeah, I mean, it really sucks. I mean, I really felt like I had the speed to be up there and try and do something. I'm not going to say I would have passed Mario, but at least I have a shot at it. But I just screwed myself twice, so I just had to get back in the game to, finish as best as I could for points, So overall, it was a good night with the miss-ups. So I'd rather do that now than do it in the playoffs. So.
Well, that'll wrap things up. Wyatt, I guess, what's your game plan these last 2 races? Trying to get a couple of wins, try and just get into the playoffs as smoothly as you can and kind of reset for the first race? What do you do?
I'm just going to try and keep up with the top 5s. I'm just going to try and keep carrying this momentum all the way through the playoffs. And I feel like if I just keep putting myself in that position at the end to be there, then, I'll start raking in the wins like all these other guys are.
There you go, Wyatt Brackett, third place tonight, buddy. Well, congratulations first on what has to feel like a win. Best of luck to you at Watkins Glen next week.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Wyatt Brackett finishes third, and let's go down and see if we can get a hold of Garrett Brown, somebody that I don't think we've talked to much at all this season, but is pretty deserving of it if he's still around. And actually, well, I don't see him, Emerson, but the story that I want to hit here with Garrett is the fact that he finishes 11th tonight, and this is going to be a huge savior to his season. I really feel like this is what he needed to keep himself afloat in the playoff battle. I know he comes into tonight 4 points above the cut line, but he was looking all over the place, didn't really make a whole lot of noise, and honestly, I could have seen him being on the red side, on the outside looking in. Emerson, we can't talk to him unfortunately, but this is a pretty big story that I think we want to watch. It finishes 11th right behind Chris Shoemaker. Those two really getting the lion's share of the points between the 5 or 6 drivers on the cut line that really needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, you need to continue to build that gap. But you need to, if you're not.
Sorry, Garrett Brown is down there. I skipped over him. Let's go ahead and bring him in. Emerson, here he is.
Let's go ahead and talk to the man who got out of here relatively well. Garrett, an 11th place finish. That's going to be a huge boost for you in the points. How do you feel today went?
It was a up and down day for sure, but to come out of here with 11th place after everything I went through today, which some of it was self-inflicted, some of it was just getting caught up in other incidents, which there's plenty of stuff to try to dodge, but I'm happy to bring home 11th. Overall, can't complain too much with that, and I know the playoff standings will probably shake up a little bit after tonight, but overall, pretty satisfied. I think that's about the best I could have finished. I struggled a little bit saving the right front, especially stage 1, and then I got myself caught a lap down during some of stage 2 and into the last stage, but overall can't complain too much.
You said that you felt this was about the best you could have finished. What were some of the things you were struggling with today?
Definitely just keeping the right front on the car. So I was burning up my right front tire pretty bad, and in stage 1 I had big issues about the last 15 laps. I lost all the ground I made up. There's a checkup on the restart, and then I was just getting swarmed because I had burned up my right front. So after stage 1, I was more conscious trying to keep the right front on it better, which I did for the last part of the race. And then I had some damage I was trying to fix, and I got caught. I didn't get out of the pits in front of the pace car to start the final stage, so then I had to come back from a lap down. So like I said, some of the issues were self-inflicted, but I was fighting damage, and then especially stage 1, I was struggling keeping the right front on it. So to fight back and get 11th, I feel fortunate to have that finish.
Absolutely. 11th place finish, nothing to scoff at. And as you prepare for, well, be anyone's guess of the season at Daytona, what kind of preparation or how much work are you going to do for Watkins Glen next week? How do you feel about your chances?
I'm going to put in quite a bit of work. Road courses don't come easily to me, so for me to get a good finish and have good speed, I've got to put in quite a bit of time. So I'll probably work on Watkins Glen quite a bit. I'm pretty familiar with it, which is nice. Some of the other road courses I'm not as familiar with, like Road America and sometimes Coda, even though I've learned Coda pretty well. But yeah, I'll have to work pretty hard on Watkins Glen and just try to have some long run speed there. That's the big thing. Maybe squeak out some stage points with strategy or something. And then, yeah, heading into Daytona, like you said, it's anyone's game at Daytona, which is going to be fun. That's kind of a great way to end the regular season because anyone can come in there and win and get a spot in the playoffs.
There you go. Garrett Brown, a driver who definitely helped this cause in the playoff standings tonight. Looking to see if they can continue this good streak next week at Watkins Glen. Best of luck to you, Garrett. Hopefully we'll talk to you some more next week.
I hope so, guys. Thanks.
That wraps up a good night for Garrett Brown and a good night of talking to some drivers there at the back end. Look at those birds at the top of the frame. Emerson, a really solid night here at Richmond, but that'll wrap things up as far as what we have, well, in round 24. I think round. Hang on. I just forgot how to speak English. Round 24. Right off.
I think it's 23.
23 with 2.
Because we're going to 35.
Yes, thank you. You're right. This is round 23 of the MPI Cup Series. My brain just said, nope, we're going on vacation with those birds headed north for who knows what. But let's go ahead and take a look at the upcoming broadcast here at PitStop TV. This is what I was trying to segue into. Wednesday, we've got a double feature of NASCAR Gen 7 Racing. It's the Outlaw Sim Series from Bristol. Emerson, tell us all about it.
Well, a huge, dominant performance from Max Service this past Wednesday at Charlotte in what was the largest Outlaws field in a long time, 35 cars. Gave us a great showing. Max is not going to be here this upcoming week at Bristol. Perfect opportunity for someone like a Jonathan Jennings at second in the points to close up on that points lead. It'll be intriguing to see what kind of a show the Outlaws boys bring to the last great Coliseum Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern.
And alongside the Outlaw Sim Series at Bristol, we've got Pocono Raceway for what I think is still kind of a hilarious league name, Old Fart Sim Racing. And as the name suggests, a bunch of old farts are racing at Pocono this Wednesday at 7:45 Eastern. We are kind of stepping in to help out our friends at Holler Boys Racing TV. It seems like we might be coming back a little bit here. I think so. Yeah, so if we are back, Spectrum is doing some maintenance, apparently, it seems like. So we're right on the cusp. It said 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. There would be some maintenance here from Spectrum. So it looks like we're back for now. Upcoming broadcast, though, you can see the Outlaw Sim Series of Bristol, the Old Fart Sim Racing League at Pocono Raceway, and the MPI Cup Series, obviously, coming back Sunday, for Watkins Glen International. Emerson, there are plenty of places to watch PitStop TV from and see more about PitStop TV, and they're listed below.
Yeah, absolutely. Our Facebook page, along with our Instagram and Twitter, were manned by Zach Murdis tonight. Our Facebook at facebook.com/PitStopTV. Our Instagram at @pit_stop_TV. Our Twitter at PitStopTV_. Tonight we are also live to Facebook, Twitter, along with YouTube and Twitch. YouTube at youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1 and our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/pit_stop_TV.
And let's briefly talk more about the upcoming schedule for the MPI Cup Series. This graphic actually has not been changed yet. I got to make sure I do that this week. But Richmond this evening, round 23. Next week, round 24, Watkins Glen. And we are actually continuing into the playoffs with coverage of the MPI Cup Series. I know it was slated initially for Podium Esports to take back over. That has changed. So we will continue on through Daytona. Watkins Glen would have been our last broadcast. Excited to continue on. Daytona is going to be a lot of fun. There's so much to look forward to, but in these next two races, we're finally onto the right the right column, the final column there. A lot to talk about in these next two rounds. A lot of positions are going to change hands, and I'm excited to see how this series shakes out finally. Then Darlington is going to be our opening race of the playoffs of round number 1, Kansas, Bristol. I'm excited.
It's a great slate of races. And you look to tonight, right? Richmond, a flat short track. The season finale, Phoenix, a flat short track. Be a lot of similarities here, or there. Can be a lot of fun coming up for us over the course of the next few months. And again, DNTs will be up as the races lessen.
And before we go here, a big thank you to our partners here with the MPI Cup Series. Max Pappas Innovation aspect of construction and safety to heart in the most accurate and dedicated way possible. Max Pappas' goal has always been to apply his experience and knowledge to produce a state-of-the-art product for the racing community. Auto Tempest saves you time, effort, and guesswork when buying a car by gathering results from all top used car websites. eBay Motors, Cars.com, TrueCar, Carvana, you name it, nowhere else will you find more listings in one place. And Auto Tempest makes it easy so you can spend less time looking for your ideal car and more time driving it. KeylessSynthetics.com is an independent dealer of Amsoil lubricants serving the USA and Canada alike, providing custom engine lubrication solutions to all types of customers, non-residential, lawn care crews, race teams, the hauling fleets, everything in between. They have the products for you. Hey, I just wanted to admit, I said non-residential. That does include residential. I want to clarify that. That was actually bugging my mind. I was trying to think about that one. From residential, lawn care crews, race teams, to hauling fleets, there we go. They have all the products and expertise to help you save time and money. Go to save. It was all coming apart, Emerson. I got the first two plugs in perfect. The last one I wasn't destined to do. Go to KeylessSynthetics.com. There we go. Or call 785-813-1882 to order today. Again, that's KeylessSynthetics.com. Now that I finally got that one out. A big shout out to our partners as well here at PitStop TV, Whiplash Media, SimCams, SimRapMarket.com, and Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine. That will do it for us here at PitStop TV for round 23. Emerson Arden alongside, and Zach Murdis. We didn't mention him yet, but Zach Murdis doing a great thing over there on social media. Fantastic work from him tonight. We will see you next time. Hopefully, it is for the Outlaws Sim Series or the Old Fart Sim Racing Series on Wednesday evening. It's either Bristol or Pocono. Bristol is a great way to maybe start the evening, then finish off at Pocono. We'll see, but we hope to see you there for either one of those. And again, on Sunday for Watkins Glen. Until then, though, thank you so much for watching. We will see you next time. Good night.